Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
Hello and welcome to Space and Style, a property show designed to connect various stakeholders across the property value chain. We can also provide realistic solutions and deepen your knowledge about the interesting world of real estate. We shall showcase architectural design, interior design trends, lifestyle and real-time property news updates, and the right way to navigate through property development and investment. Join me every week on this channel as I take you through an exciting journey in the world of real estate.
Space and Style, 6:30 p.m. on Saturdays and 5:30 p.m. on Wednesdays.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamode Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamode Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajitumobi.
INEC has warned political parties against non-transparent primaries, and protests and gunshots have rocked the River State APC secretariat during a screening ahead of the party primaries. This is Plus Politics, and I'm Kofi Bartels. All right, welcome, and once again, you're watching Plus Politics and Plus TV Africa. Let's go over to River State, where it was all action at the state party secretariat on Woji Road in the GRA axis of state capital, Port Harcourt. Gunshots were heard in the air amid protests in the morning that rocked the All Progressives Congress secretariat. During the screening for the state party's House of Assembly candidates, we had hundreds of APC members loyal to the former federal lawmaker, former Senator Magnus Abe, thronged the premises alleging hijack of state party state assembly aspirants screening and ward and state delegate selection. Now we have joining us to discuss this a deputy spokesperson of the APC in River State, Darlington Wuju, and Bethel Inte, who is one of the delegate hopefuls in the All Progressives Congress from the Magnus Abbey side of the party. Let's start with you, Darlington. Good evening to you.
Good evening, Kofi.
Thank you for joining us. We've seen the videos and pictures of pandemonium, if you want to call it that, at the River State All Progressives Congress Secretariat on Woji Road in the upscale GRA area of Port Hackett. What happened today?
Well, Kofi, I listened carefully to your intro, and I want to say that, as you are aware, just yesterday, the National Secretariat of the party did inaugurate the state screening committee for the House of Assembly elections, and also the Ward and Local Government Congress committee. So that committee is actually a dual-purpose committee. The members of that committee came into town yesterday and immediately rolled up their sleeves to start their work. They did a plethora of advertisements on radio stations, calling for a stakeholders meeting for 9 a.m. this morning. 9 a.m. this morning. And before 9 a.m. this morning, from our investigation, at 6 a.m., some misguided youth in the name of persons supporting Senator Magnus Abbey had invaded the party secretariat. Meanwhile, Kofi, if you would recall, the last time I granted an interview to this station, it was before the National Convention of the party. And on the other side, we had Mr. Tony Okocha. Recall the fact that Tony Okocha did allege that Chief Emeka Beke is not the authentic or legal party chairman of APC in River State. And I raised serious arguments and serious questions as to his allegation and the interpretation of whatever he thought the court has said previously. And he raised issues that there was a court, a subsisting court a matter over the legality or otherwise of the tenureship or the existence of Chief Emeka Beke. I say this because it is fundamental to this very argument this evening. The fact that the same Chief Emeka Beke led ESCO, the same party secretariat manned by Chief Emeka Beke, was today invaded by persons who were sponsored by Senator Magnus Abbey, coordinated by Tony Okocha. And so I began to ask myself questions. If indeed Tony Okocha and Senator Magnus Abbey believe that Chief Emeka Beke is not the authentic chairman of the party, why invade the party premises, making unnecessary and irrelevant demands on the party? Now, the screening and ward and local government Congress committee had placed an advert calling for a stakeholders meeting for 9 o'clock. You have not waited to listen to that committee, what they have to say, and the guidelines they have to roll out for today's congresses and the screening exercise. You went ahead sponsoring people to invade the party premises. Now, what was the intention of invading the party premises? And how would you now, define or describe or substantiate your previous allegation, having claimed that Emeka Beke was not chairman of this party? Why now coming to, invade the party premises if he is not the party chairman? What does a man who you claim is illegal or occupying an office illegally, what has he got to do with enforcing any act of legality? So I raise questions as the morality of both those sponsoring the protest and those protesting. Because their argument for the past 4 or 5 years has been that there is a faction in APC in Rivers State. And I might ask, what is wrong with them holding their own factional congresses, holding their own factional screening exercise, and submitting it to Abuja? Because they bought their funds from Abuja and refused to submit their funds to Port Harcourt. So what stopped them from going to Abuja for their screening exercise?
All right, Darlington Wojo, please permit me to bring in...
These are fundamental questions you should raise to whoever is speaking.
All right, Darlington Wojo, thank you very much. I would like to bring in at this point Bethel Nte, who is a delegate hopeful for the All Progressives Congress, or from the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State. Bethel, are you there? Hello, Bethel Nte, can you hear me, please? All right, we'll try our very best. I apologize for that. We'll try our very best to get Bethel Nte back with us on the line. But Darlington, you going back to an interview we had some time ago when we had a member. I can hear you loud and clear. When we had a member of your party. Oh, Bethel, are you there?
Yeah.
All right, we'll get back to Bethel as soon as we can, so that he can give us his own take. But Darlington, are you there, please?
Yes, go.
All right, so you're going back to a time in your party when, of course, you had factions. We know about the Magnus Abbey faction, and you're trying to say that if they believe what they are saying, Emeka Bekele is not the authentic, bona fide chairman of your party, what were they doing at the party secretariat? But do you know who those aggrieved or protesting aspirants are? Are all of them supporters of Magnus Abbey? Have you spoken to them one by one? Do you have their names to know who they support?
Well, because from their chance, if you have, I guess you have a reporter on ground. If you've seen the video, if you monitor the video and listen closely and carefully, you would have heard them chanting, no Magnus, no APC. And I wonder if all this while, the activities of Senator Magnus Abbey has clearly demonstrated the fact that he is technically no longer a member of the All Progressive Congress Party in Rivers State, considering the fact that he has not even revalidated his membership of the party. And so I wonder why the confusion and the unnecessary force being built around Senator Magnus Abbey's gubernatorial ambition, because you cannot put something on nothing. The fact that he has no home base, as far as we are concerned in the Congress Party in Rivers State, the senator, with all due respect, has no home base. Because if you claim that you belong to a political party, then you must subscribe to all its rules, rudiments, and the regulations therewith. So for him to be running parallel to what the party is doing in Rivers State, it shows clearly that he is anti the development of APC in Rivers State. And we cannot take him seriously.
Back to Bethel, are you there, please? Can you hear us?
I can hear you clear now. Good evening.
Fantastic. Okay. So you've listened to Darlington Wojo. He said, that he's questioning the purpose of those who came to protest at the APC secretariat this morning, bearing in mind the fact that those who are loyal to Magnus Abbey in the APC in Rivers State had refused to recognize the leadership of the Emeka Bekele-led State Working Committee.
Yeah, nothing like that. That is absolute falsehood. You can recall that this whole thing started out from 2018 when the Minister of Transport, party's narrative and deny those who vote for as of that time.
Bethel, are you there, please? All right, Bethel, we sincerely apologize. It's probably a network issue as you're joining us, Vaz, and we'll try and place a phone call to you now, and hopefully we'll get a secure connection. Darlington, would you, are you saying that, Darlington, are you there, please? All right, we'll take a break and let's get the audio issues sorted out. We sincerely apologize. And when we come back, we'll continue with this interesting conversation. Stay with us.
Increase the reach of your events or business services. To advertise on Plus TV Africa, please call 0906 000 5719 or 0909 040 8408 or send an email to marketing@plustvafrica.com. Plus TV Africa. Big stories live here.
We're back, still apologies for the issues, but we still have a gentleman on the line, Bethel Inte, who is a member of the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State and an aspiring delegate for the party. We also have Darlington Wuju, who is the deputy spokesman of the party in Rivers State. Bethel Inte, you listened to what Darlington Wuju said, and he's asked some very important questions, asking what those who went on the protest, who he says are loyal to Magnus Abe, supporters of Magnus Abe in the party, are doing there, since that part of the party has failed to recognize the leadership of Emeka Beke and his state executive committee or state working committee. What do you say to that? Bethel.
Yes, I've said it that is not the issue. The issue is that right from 2018, we have had this recurring testimony that every time members make effort to participate in election of party position, that minister are done all with its powers to ensure that those of us who have some Senator Magnus Abe don't have the space to pay with so people. And what was today? Yesterday, the committee was in and the information, the part of the committee is and they cannot be. And we found out that they are all taken away by all efforts to them prove abortive. Now, we got a rumor that said to have a stakeholder meeting by 9. We have another very verified information. They are asking their own people info lines across their world as early as 6 a.m. this morning. And it becomes confusing. In one hand, you are saying that you have stakeholders meeting by 9. After that, you are asking your people to line up for photographs by 6 a.m. So we make our way to the party in adherence to the directive of stakeholders meeting. I was there almost to 11 this morning. As I'm talking to you, the members of the committee are nowhere to be found. States were against us. So hundreds of policemen from Houlons that brought to the party secretariat to ensure that I don't have access. I brought to contest as a delegate for the forthcoming governorship election as a state delegate. And there are other hundreds of persons who bought from either for state delegates or world delegates, AGA delegates. So, and our people too, who bought from to contest, all of us came, just let the world know that the issue of APC that started 2018 that is also again, all because of vote and we are treated with gunshots, chargers, broken two glasses against members. We have, as I'm talking to you, have more than 30 individuals undergoing serious treatment. So there is nothing that has to do with us not being Emeka Bekele. Emeka Bekele is not the chairman of the screening committee stroke delegate election. And if we do not recognize Emeka Bekele, we will not go to the party secretary to meet the committee. The committee are nowhere to be found. The committee are only known and only seen and only found by those who are Ipanichi. So how can you have an honest context where somebody has been given a large advantage over you? It doesn't work that way. All material meant for this exercise have been denied us. We couldn't have access to the forms. The result sheet they're taking away. What are we contesting for? It's like a result already written before the context. So these are the issues we are saying, and Nigeria are all aware of this matter. It's not today matter.
Okay.
Somebody who thinks today does not behave like a demo, not allow the democracy to follow the norms. The norms on democracy are you converse for support, and people will now decide whether to support you or to support somebody else.
Okay, all right.
But in the case of APC,
yeah,
Amish will never allow democracy to reign. He will always want to sit down in his parlor and draw a list and find his way and put pressure on the party hierarchy in Abuja to adopt him. Yes.
All right. Bethel, hold the thought. Let's bring in Darlington at this point.
Election 20, when I was a two-time governor, we lost. We couldn't do anything.
Bethel, can you pause for a second? Bethel, sorry. Let's bring in Darlington at this point because, Bethel, you've raised some important points. Now, you are an aspiring delegate of the party, and you intend to be a part of the process. And you're saying that you were denied any form or any opportunity to be part of the process. I know that people who are also intending to be a part of the process to become candidates for the House of Assembly election were part of the protest. For instance, I spoke this evening to Noble Georgeford, who is a State House of Assembly aspirant for the Omuma State constituency. You're saying that they were denied nomination forms. I come to you, Darlington Nwuju. What do you say to this allegation that those who came out to protest today were denied nomination forms and had no other way to vent their feelings? Darlington.
Gofi, I was almost losing my patience listening to the pedestrian line of the young man, Bethel. I was almost losing my patience listening to him. I am disappointed in the fact that the youth of this generation have decided to give themselves to fabrications and lies. It's tragic for our nation to have these kind of persons who want to lead the next generation. Now, let me say this clearly. Kofi, we can hold on for the next 5 minutes for the producer of this program to place a call on your colleagues in Port Harcourt. Can we hold on for 5 minutes so that the producer will get journalists who are in Port Harcourt to confirm to you if indeed, because I listened to him saying that there were hundreds of policemen. When I go to the party secretariat this morning, I was dropped by my loving wife, and I only met 3 regular policemen at the gate. We are the avalanche. Hold on, Kofi, because we cannot trade on lies. We cannot be living on lies, Kofi. I am no longer interested in this. We will continue with this interview. If what I'm hearing is only lies, please, Kofi. And I am saying that the young man who is claiming that the screening committee was nowhere to be found, can we please confirm from journalists if they interacted with the screening committee today? Please, at the party secretariat, can you confirm if the stakeholders meeting held today at the party office? Can you also confirm if the screening of candidates held today? Please, if you confirm that, we cannot continue with this interview. Okay. Or else, I'm tired of listening to
Darlington, I think
please,
Darlington,
for my sanity.
Darlington, you're performing your responsibility, to speak on behalf of the party, after your principal. But Bethel, are you there? He says that you're not being truthful, that he saw only 3 armed policemen at the party secretariat this morning. So where did the gunshots and the tear gas you're claiming were fired at you come from?
Kofi, can I say something? I take a great exception for somebody calling me lying. All over Port Harcourt today, journalists were there, Nigerians were there. The videos are everywhere. We have hundreds of policemen, various units of Nigeria police were mobilized to the party secretariat, who, without any kind of provocation from the party, peaceful party, loyal party members who came to just express their dissatisfaction with what the committee sent from Abuja were trying to do. Not any provocation of any kind. I was a leading leader in what happened today, and I was at the forefront of everything that happened. No one person from among the protesters that caused anything that warranted the level of violence that were meted on us. Guns were used, live bullets. It was like we were in Iraq. The whole Port was shaking. If you check, most of the Port residents in different platforms were sharing the information on their platform. It was a public something. Chargers were used, people were injured, people were in the hospital. I can upload videos and pictures of people who sustained various degrees of injury.
Please upload the pictures. Let us see.
And this person did not cause anything to warrant that. As I'm saying, I stand by what I said earlier. By the committee, the operation, we have the people on ground around the National Party inaugurated the committee. Right from the inauguration, I told you that Amechi Ali, Victor Gardon, went away with these people and the materials. And our effort for us to reach out to this committee was totally not forthcoming. Now, we were told that they will arrive in Port Harcourt today. But from our intelligence, we got that they were actually in Port Harcourt yesterday. Now, they say we are going to meet today by 9 for stakeholders meeting. I arrived the party secretariat almost 11. And as I'm talking to you, as of that time I arrived, the gate was shut against us. Policemen were everywhere. They didn't allow us to even go close to the gate. They had to turn back. So, and people were not anywhere around the secretariat. To 11, they were not there. I'm saying this in all honesty. Can that man who is calling me a liar stop to go to his face and say the screening committee from Abuja were in the secretariat outside level. They weren't there. We were there and we are asking for them to come and address us and give us our form and let us see the capability of what they want to do.
Okay.
Nowhere to be found. we are chased away with bullets and tigers. Now, after all the destruction they did on us, this evening, with the head of police and other security personnel, they brought them and said they had a stakeholder meeting. Please, I know how democracy is done. Are we doing democracy like we are stealing something? It's supposed to be a public something that all the processes will be followed by all those who are involved.
Okay. All right. Darlington Woju, you're the deputy spokesman for the party in the state. Did the stakeholders meeting hold today?
It has access to the form. We don't have. We are party loyalists. We are party members.
Bethel, please hold. Yeah, Bethel, please hold on.
All the process is led down by the party for this to decide.
Yeah, Bethel, can you please give me a second so we can have Darlington respond to what you've said? Darlington, did that stakeholders meeting with the screening committee hold today?
Hello, come again.
Okay, it seems we've lost Darlington. Darlington, can you hear me, please?
Yes, because I can hear you now.
Yes, did that stakeholders meeting hold today?
Please, come again.
Did the stakeholders meeting with the screening committee that was meant to hold today, as announced, did it hold?
A couple of minutes ago, I challenged you to ask your producer to get in touch with your colleagues in Port Harcourt and confirm. And I did affirm that indeed the stakeholders meeting held today, the screening exercise for House of Assembly aspirants also held today.
But so you heard Bethel. Darlington, please.
I want to inform you, Kofi.
Yes, okay.
That the persons who are alleging that they are looking for forms and they are looking for screening committee actually procured their forms from Abuja. They did not pay for those forms in Port Harcourt. That's in the APC party office here in Port Harcourt. So there is no way you can put something on nothing. If you recall my last interview with Tony Okocha, I made some I put forth some fundamental issues which he was unable to adequately defeat. He could not.
Darlington, are you saying that all? Darlington, please hold the thought.
I am saying again.
Yes.
That the persons who are claiming that they are looking for screening committee actually bought their form from Abuja.
Darlington, hold on. Bethel, yes. Are you aware that those who were protesting with you, the assembly aspirants, bought their forms from Abuja and not the APC party office in Port Harcourt, the likes of Noble, George Ford, and co?
It's available. Banks details for us to pay.
Darlington, please hold on. Bethel, where did your colleagues, your fellow party men who were protesting with you today, who were locked out, as you said, where did they purchase their forms from?
Forms and other material to this committee that was inaugurated yesterday. Now, this committee have given those things to those who are loyal to the minister. Remember, I told you that the vice chairman, SARS, Victor Gardon, is actually the one the minister bidding in the end of the city. I just all this matter. Because the committee sent to River State has already been compromised. So instead of being dependent, they are answerable to what the Victor and Amechi wants them to do in River State. So the forms and other material given to them that they are supposed to also make it available to us have been denied us. This is the fact, and he knows. The man who is calling about it knows that he is lying from his heart to heart. He is the one that is the actual liar in this scenario. Well, I'm saying that, and I stand by it, that after the inauguration, they went away with these persons. We couldn't find them. The identity of them were unknown to us. So how do you have fairness? How do you have justice in that kind of matter when an umpire have already taken side with one of the parties? So as I'm saying today,
yeah, Bethel, are you saying that you were denied access to purchase the forms?
You were saying that the stakeholder meeting had what time? Was it the time of 9 a.m.? They said 9 a.m. stakeholder people will come. Even when we did not get the information, we got it through a secondary means. Now, I told you I was there to 11, and these persons were not anywhere to be found. The only person who came around that place and instructed the police to start action was Asita. When Asita came there, I was there to 11. These people were not anywhere to be found. The only people who saw there who attended the were the policemen. This one unit of Nigeria police. How can somebody who saw hundreds of police say before only 3 policemen? It's a lot from the pit of hell now.
All right.
We should be careful what we say to the public.
Bethel, can you hear me, please?
President, especially within that GRA so what happened, what played out today, they saw this, they heard the sound of guns.
Okay, Bethel, we have to move on. If you can hear me.
Of the chargers, and somebody saying that none of those things happened.
All right, Bethel, you seem to be saying that the opportunity to purchase the forms was denied these aggrieved aspirants. If that's what you're saying, I'll come back to Darlington. Darlington, what do you say to this? He's saying that they wanted to get the forms and they were refused these forms. He's also saying they came out to attend this stakeholders meeting and they were barred from entering into the premises. What do you say to this, Darlington?
Kofi, let me repeat myself. Can I repeat myself for the avoidance of that? Now, I told you that I was dropped off today at the office by my wife. And I got there before 9 a.m. And then when I got there, we only had a complement of 3 policemen that are regular, that are posted.
You're moving far from what I asked. Hello, Darlington.
No,
Darlington, please.
For the past 2 weeks, anytime you pass to that place, you see at least 2 vans of police.
It was unruly. It was after they started pressing the party secretariat that the policemen there had to send and ask for a reinforcement. Please, let us know.
Darlington, was the form available to every aspirant, or was it denied some people? Was the form available to?
Not denied forms, Kofi. Now, I am also telling you that they actually paid for their forms. They actually procured their forms from Abuja. And ordinarily, they were insisting, let me tell you, since he's refusing to say the whole truth, maybe if he does not know, let him know now, that his principals were insisting that since they bought their forms from Abuja, that they should be screened there at Abuja instead of in River State. And the committee insisted that was wrong because you are targeted to come and rule over people in Port Harcourt. Your constituents are here in Port Harcourt. We must come down to Port Harcourt for the screening. And that was why they quickly got thugs to barricade and invade the party premises. Like I told you before.
All right, Darlington, let's allow Bethel quickly respond to what you've said. Darlington, let's quickly allow Bethel to respond to what you've said. Bethel, please go on. You were about to respond, Bethel. Yeah, Bethel, your response, please, very quickly.
What I'm seeing, there is no form. There is no form that people were giving in Port Harcourt, another one in. If you check, I have the publication for buying of form for the national. They make it very explicit. That bank details, pay your money. So when you pay, the party will make available these funds to you. So when they say pay to bank, UBA or Zenith, and they give you the bank and the thing, how does that relate to you buy in Abuja or you buy in Port Harcourt? That is totally not true. Funds we are asked to pay our money to designated banks. You understand, in Nigeria. So anywhere you can go into the bank and pay the money, then the party will make available this form to you. Now, the party makes available this form through this committee. And I told you that this committee, we are hijacked. This committee, we are hijacked. And today is not the first. This started from 2018, when the minister hijacked all the process and keep on doing same. And it has not produced any positive results. We were talking about Senator Magnus. Senator Magnus has been a Democrat, a peace-loving Nigeria. Now, between the tenure of our former national chairman, John Odigoyegu, and to that of Adams, and to the last caretaker committee of whom, There are more than 10 committees that were set to intervene on the issue of Rivers State to bring some level of oneness. The minister, all efforts to bring peace, we are all sympathized by the minister's action. So it's not all about Abe or not Abe. If you check the minister's side, you can see that even today, even one of the governorship aspirants is also crying out for this irregularity and injustice. It's not a matter of Abe. It's a matter that the minister has vowed that he will not allow transparency, justice, and fairness to play out in Rivers APC. And over time, the minister has always taken the structure of the party, and it has not produced us any results. I said it earlier, the minister was a sitting governor, two-time governor of Rivers State. And we did the election 2015. He lost. We did the rerun. He lost. The only senatorial district that we won election was Rivers East by Senator Abe. We won the Senate, we won the 3 House of Reps, and we won Assembly. We came 2019, the minister was the super minister, and DJ of presidential campaign. His local government has 0 for President Buhari. So we don't have anything to be afraid of. How can we be afraid of screening? These people have their qualifications. They have everything. So how can they be afraid of saying, don't screen us in Port Harcourt, screen us in Abuja? What was that supposed to mean? The screening is not
Bethel, thank you. Let's just take a final word from Darlington before we go.
Bring your certificate, let them see, and how can we be afraid of doing it in Port Harcourt and say, bring us to Abuja?
All right, I'm afraid that's the last we can take from you, Bethel.
The committee from Operation Ground has demonstrated high degree of compromise with the minister by their conduct, and there is no any evidence of justice and fairness what they've done. You gave us time, 9 o'clock, that you'll be there for a victim. People then, even and said almost 11, you are not there. Till 12, you are not there. And people are waiting for you. You are not going to be found. Let's give them a
all right, we have to go. Gentlemen, we have to go. I apologize for the audio issues. Bethel, if you can hear me, we have to call it a day. Hello, Bethel, are you there, please?
What his own fellow party members went through.
Thank you very much, Bethel Nte. He is an APC delegate hopeful. He was part of the protest right there at the APC secretariat in Rivers State, where gunshots and tear gas were said to have been fired. Of course, you've seen the clips and video and report on Plus TV. It happened this morning. We've also had the deputy spokesperson for the All Progressives Congress in Rivers State, Darlington Wuju, who also give the party position, official position. We will be monitoring the unfolding events in Rivers State, not just from the All Progressives Congress, but also from the People's Democratic Party, the PDP in Rivers State, and indeed around the country ahead of the 2023 general elections. Of course, INEC has said they are not shifting or changing the dates for the primaries and the conclusion of the party primaries. We sincerely apologize for the audio and network issues we've had today. We promise you it's going to get better. Well, thank you for staying with us, and that's it on Plus Politics for tonight. My name is Kofi Bartels. We return tomorrow with more on politics in Nigeria. Good night.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
It is engagement we need to have.
Those who suffer miscarriages are never taken into account.
Members of the National Assembly are also influence peddlers.
You are sitting on Nigerians' money.
From the Babin, I pay my rent. On the Babin, I send my children to school.
A consultative engagement.
No any tangible notification before they ban us.
It's one thing for people to be at your back and the heat of the moment, and another thing for them to still be with you when push comes to shove.
I will do everything to take Lagos out of the national grid.
Hey, what's up, guys? You're welcome to another edition of Plus Event, and I remain your host, Ifeoluwa Oshukeye.
Your absence isn't an excuse anymore, as Plus Events is all you need, as we bring you the glitz, the glamour, and loads of fun.
Oh, definitely. Like, no question. He's a living legend.
Oh, God forbid, Holy Ghost fire, I know.
I just want to be blown away. I want to be wild. This is 11 years of doing it.
I'm surrounded by so much positivity.
No, it's okay.
Yo, what's up, my people? It's your boy Starboy Terry. You're watching
Plus Event on Plus TV.
Stay glued to Plus TV Africa every Saturday and Sunday, 4:30 p.m. West African time.
Hello and welcome to What Are You Saying? #Ways, where we talk about topics in the news as it affects us all. I am Usaiwa Mesale, and today I'm joined by the amazing ladies. I think we all got the memo of the black, Abby. It's your fault. I haven't seen you this week. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Look amazing, by the way.
Thank you, and so do you. And so
Kuzi.
Oh, you know,
you look ravishing.
Thank you
How's
so
the
much.
week been? Today is Wednesday.
Yes,
so
it's
how's
Wednesday.
the week been
It's been
for
a
you?
hectic one for me, absolutely hectic. But you know how we do. We have to be here and we have to show up and do what we love to do.
Absolutely.
So we are here.
So, not my fanga. You're doubling as a guest and co-anchor. Today is your day.
Here I am.
You look amazing, by the way.
Thank you so much.
How are you? How was your day?
You know, like I'm almost beginning to sound like a broken record when I say they don't know when they see us.
How will
they
they
have
know?
no idea what the behind the scenes look like. But it's good. I'm excited. My last born is turning 3 tomorrow.
Awesome. Oh.
And he's been announcing it all week.
Auntie
three. Auntie P is 3. So finally,
you know, yesterday when I came to your house, but you know, I was in so much pain, but I couldn't listen. But I heard him say, "Mama, Auntie P is here." I said, "God, you know, I don't go like, wow. When they born this one, we don't they talk." Like he actually knew I was around. I went to tell his mom.
He watches the show. He watches the show like he's the producer.
Oh my
It's
God.
like, Auntie P, are you going Auntie P show? I said, yes, that's where I'm going.
Oh my God.
So I'm
We should bring him
excited
on the
for
show one of
him.
these days.
I'm telling you.
You will be shocked. He will be on point, answering all your questions.
Of course, he's the mother of the appearance, behavior, and communication coach.
He
cannot underrepresent us. All right, so today we have, we try to discuss things that has to do with personal development on Wednesdays and do things, for people development and growth. So we're discussing, what appearance, behavior, and communication, what impact would it have if you understand that concept in today's world. And here's what we found as today's quote. Refinement is that polishing down of the human being, casting out that which is coarse and vulgar, and retaining that which is fine and elegant. That's refinement.
Couldn't have said it any better.
See the way I'm sitting up straight. All right, so personal appearance is an often disregarded part of everyday communication and presentation skills. So today, Norma Efanga, I told you already, she's here to discuss how relevant is appearance, behavior, and communication in today's world, right? She's here to discuss that because it's important that we understand that how we appear, how we communicate, and how we behave overall impacts the overall growth process and success of every human being. But we'll do that after the break to see what we found in the news. You are still watching Ways Now. World AIDS Vaccine Day, also known as HIV Awareness Vaccine Day, is observed annually on the 18th of May. HIV vaccine advocates celebrate this day by promoting the ongoing urgent need for a vaccine to prevent HIV and AIDS. They acknowledge and thank the thousands of volunteers, community members, health professionals, supporters, and scientists who are working together to find a safe and effective AIDS vaccine, and urge the international community to recognize the importance of investing in new technologies as a critical component of a comprehensive response to HIV and AIDS pandemic. You know how it's so interesting that COVID came and everybody forgot that we had HIV.
Absolutely.
And AIDS is far more deadly.
Dangerous, yes.
Than what's it called? Than
COVID.
And look at how long it took. The day I first watched it, I think I was flipping through the channels and I saw on CNN that there was a vaccine. I said, whoa, praise God, because it was
Finally,
almost like before. At some point, remember when AIDS just HIV AIDS
came out,
just started, and that time was almost like a death sentence. I mean, there were movies.
I lost quite a number.
Yes,
of people
Nollywood did movies around it so well that people were really very careful about going to the salon, because it was not really only about sex.
Yeah,
it's about
sharp objects. You don't know where you can prick yourself.
A needle. So I mean, it's just so surreal that today we can actually have a vaccine that can prevent, HIV/AIDS.
However, I don't think that the awareness is there for a lot of people compared to what COVID. Everybody knows about the COVID vaccine, but very few people are aware of the the vaccine for HIV. So I think awareness should be created on it
across board. Yeah, if they can push it. More and more people need to know. The same way they pushed, awareness, the media space took over, telling people about COVID, how to protect themselves. I think they should also do that for AIDS.
Absolutely. So let me start with you, Isi, your story.
Okay. It's evident that you missed me. So my story is from Lagos State and the Lagos State government that says Sanwo-Olu announces total indefinite ban on Okada in Lagos State in 6 local government areas, namely Ikeja, Surulere, Etiosa, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island, and Apapa. And I think this is applaudable basically, but I think it's medicine after death as well, because we have had this issue and outcry about the menace of Okada riders in Lagos State from God knows
what
where.
What is even
and
scary for me, Isi,
yeah.
is this our Lekki Ibadan and Lekki Ekpe Expressway? They are coming
and
like to an oncoming vehicle, and they are telling you clear.
They, to the side. They are owning the rights to the road. Absolutely, I think it is totally
it's long overdue.
But it is time we actually implement it. Implementation is crucial here, and let's see how they go about implementing.
Absolutely,
that's just my take.
There have been a lot of uncalled for accidents, or you mean the death of
David? We're talking that tomorrow. Yeah,
I mean it's unfortunate how many lives that have been lost, and the audacity that these Okada riders have across board, across Lagos metropolis. It's something, I agree with you when you say that, I mean, it's coming in late, but it's better late than never. But I hope it's not going to be a case of saying something and then implementing is a problem. Because that's where this is the second time that this has been made by the state government.
Then they said it was partially done because I think it was done in February 2020. That it was a partial ban, whereby the
now it's an outright ban.
Now it's a total ban.
You know.
So we are looking forward to how this is carried out.
So sorry, Uwa, don't you think that this is also going to give rise to another problem? Because now all of a sudden a number of people are jobless. Already we had a situation, we had some people who the residents in Lekki who got wind of a situation that was going to, a riot or something that was going to occur, and they were sending out messages to people around the environs to be careful, and that they were going to begin to man the gates from a period in time, reducing the amount of hours that people could have access, because they were planning to. So these people, what is going to be their plight? How are they going to manage the situation of even more jobless people in Lagos State? Because that is a ticking time bomb in itself.
Well, I think, if I may step in there, I think this has occurred before, and that was where we had the Okada riders who were actually like a corporate entity, that they were
the hailing services.
So I think yes, it can be rectified, but now these individuals or these Okada riders, who we all know as the Hausa people or something, the key thing here is that at least let them go through some sort of training before they actually go on the road.
I was going to say that when there was that initial ban, when Sanwo-Olu just came in, it was, they banned all the go-karters, right?
Yeah.
So they banned go-karters, and all of a sudden what then happened was people converted their go-karters to the logistics. No, to logistics. So they use a lot of the go-karter riders now. I use go-karter when I want to like transport things and all of that. But you see, even those ones, they were a real menace.
Because they're not trained.
So what? No, but to some extent, I would have preferred that the government enforce certain kinds of rules and regulations for a corporate entity, like the hailing services, like the one I had mentioned. If they have some regulations, you will be able to control those ones, because if anything happens, we'll take off your license, so you'll not be able to ride again. Because you cannot just completely take them out of job. But you see, there was some level of sanity with those people. You could see graduates taking up the jobs and all of that, just like the car hailing services as well. But now, what we have is that the hailing services, they are no longer there. They are there partially, but more for logistics.
But this will give room for them to come back.
What has happened is these Okada people are back on the road, and they always take one way. They never follow the traffic rules. They never do anything.
Do they know the traffic rules?
Are they trained?
An outright ban is good now, but I'm saying that if at all that they say that they must bring something like the riding services, right? It has to be a corporate body that understands how to run a business and teach them proper road usage, because what we have right now is total chaos. Just take your message, Norma.
Yeah, okay. My message.
Yes, your what's in the news.
My message has to do with federal government saying that the Abuja Kaduna train service is to come back to begin operations again from May 23. So the story goes that the federal government, through the Federal Ministry of Transportation, has directed that the Abuja-Kaduna train service should resume on May 23. The Deputy Director of Public Relations of the Nigerian Railway Corporation, Mr. Yakubu Mahmood, had made this known in a statement in Lagos, and the reports have it that Kaduna-bound train, of course, we know the incident that happened on March 28th, which is about 6 weeks, where at least eight persons were killed and the rest were kidnapped and are still missing.
Totally.
Now, this situation is very dicey because these people who have been kidnapped are still not found. And then the pressure of resuming back services, railway transport services, is also there. How is the government trying to manage these two situations? If they outrightly, I feel that if they outrightly just say, oh, let's start work, and these are these people who have not gotten answers for their family members, their brothers, their sisters, their wives, their husbands who have been missing, their children who have been missing, it will feel like there's a level of sensitivity to my plight as a citizen. And I'm beginning to wonder, do you even have me in the front burner when you are making these decisions? It is very unfortunate, and I don't know how they're going to be able to come out of this, because these people, on one hand, these people need answers. These people need their family members to come home, and they don't have those answers. And on the other hand, service needs to resume. So you cannot, this is 6 weeks after, and then you still do not have answers, and then you want to continue business and as usual.
By endangering other Nigerians.
How, and then the questions of even how safe can Nigerians feel going back to using these railway transport system? No answers. We haven't had any answers to that effect.
So I think we would probably need to
it's an ongoing...
We've had him on the show, the DG for the Nigerian Rail Services. We would probably need to bring them in and
the Nigerian people need these answers.
Yeah, because I'm sure that they would not reopen if they
have not done
put certain
due
measures
diligence.
So it's just important for us to know. And again, what are they doing concerning the people that are still in custody? Because even today, this is real, right? Today, I was reading somewhere about the road. There was another abduction on the Kaduna-Abuja Expressway.
So still,
that axis,
the insecurity situation is still there.
Yeah, it's a big issue. It's even beyond even reopening the rail lines. But let me take my story. A wanted drug baroness, right? Bridget Emeka, aka Mama. She's 59. She's been arrested by the operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency in Delta State. She was arrested on Sunday at her mansion, where she allegedly cooked and distributed crack cocaine, methamphetamine, and other illicit substances. Now, the NDLEA said no fewer than 9 of her workers and associates were also arrested in coordinated simultaneous operations at her residence and drug bunk, where she allegedly accommodated drug users and sold illicit substance to them and other parts of Warri, Delta State. On the statement that was released today by the Director of Media and Advocacy, Femi, that's for NDLEA, said apart from various quantities of crack cocaine, methamphetamine, molly, and loud seized from her home and drug bunks, a pump-action gun, 15 cartridges, documents, 2 cars, mobile phone, drug paraphernalia, and such as sodium bicarbonate and polythene wrappings were also recovered for further investigation. I'm taking this story particularly because I'm happy with NDLEA. We've been seeing a lot of drug, big wigs being cramped down, And we need more of those because, again, drug is a big, we think that security is a pandemic.
Issue.
Drug use and abuse is also a huge pandemic, and it's also eventually trickles down, or the ripple effect is also the insecurity that we're seeing, because a lot of these people go to rob, they go to kill, most of them are high.
Yes.
You know, they are always constantly high. So imagine if we treat this problem holistically, would get somewhere. So I'm happy with the NDLEA, and I say kudos to them. Hopefully we get to arrest a lot more people. So on that note, we'll take a break. And when we come back from the break, we want to discuss appearance, behavior, and communication. Stay with us. We'll be right back. All right, thanks for staying with us. Now, when you're speaking in public, you may be representing your organization or just yourself. It is still you at the front. It is you that the other person, group, or audience sees. And before you have time to open your mouth and say anything, certain assumptions, both consciously and subconsciously, have been made about you. So in interpersonal communication, the appearance of the participants establishes their social identity. By our appearances, by our appearance cues, we often send messages designed to construct a social reality or social identity for ourselves that we could not and would not want to construct by verbal means. This is from Kezia in 1990. Thus, the judicious person will not say to another person, I am trying to impress you, or I am trying to dominate you, but the same person will routinely and repeatedly communicate such messages visually by the kinds of clothing he or she chooses to wear. How relevant now do you think that this appearance, your behavior, your communication is in today's world? And let's see how well you are doing in that area. Please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-84663. So it's very important that once in a while we try to throw in things that has to do with personal development, because whether you like it or not, whether you are in front of the camera or behind the camera or anywhere in the world, people are watching. And, you know, silently, a lot of people have lost job opportunities, they've lost contracts, they've lost big transactions just by the way they presented themselves. No intentions, you know, to actually go there and fail, but it just happens, right? People do not pay attention to these things. I remember when...
Once upon a time.
One snob, yes. Oh my God! So I am one person that if you leave me, I will wear my bathroom slippers, I will wear my hairnet and go anywhere. I'm
cringing.
Be cringing, you'll be alright. You know, I go everywhere. But I'm wearing sandals today because, you know, people know I have injury in my leg. When I know they think, say, oh, you didn't complete the look. But, you know, but I realized that sadly, we're a superficial world right now.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people will not even want to hear what you have to say until you look like the person that they want to relate with. So
Absolutely.
I've seen that, you know, just by taking myself out of that place where, you know, people don't just see me and judge me from the first instance, you know, as simple as driving a clean car, making sure that your car is properly washed, the inside is clean. It says a lot about you.
Absolutely.
So that untidiness, that, you know, scattered anyhowness, scatteredness and all of that, you know, just being very deliberate about the impression you want to leave with people has actually created tremendous, you know, changes in the way people relate with me. I don't know about you, yeah.
Oh, well, I would say that I totally agree with all you've said so far. I can recall when I was in the banking sector, what we did back then was that it is all about the way you present yourself. As a marketer, you are in front of an individual, you're trying to get the person to buy into your product. What do? You have to, you know, look the part, dress the part, and act the part. Just like Norma says, you know, appear and communicate. And the key thing is you you just have to do what you have to do to get that client to buy into your ideas. You have to communicate right. So yes, I do totally agree with you that, yeah, you know, in the course of you interacting with someone, how the person perceives you, and like that quote said earlier, it says that, you know, you can have a second chance to make a first impression. So the key thing is when you're interacting with someone, you are actually, the person's actually perceiving you in a different
somebody
light,
can actually just look at you
and
know that straight on they know whether I'm going to do business with you or not.
However, some people have to be trained. They just have to have that instinct. Some people
that's why
don't
we're
know
here,
it. Some people don't even know it.
That's why we're here.
Yes,
somebody was on my case for a very long time. But don't mind me, I will still pack and buy my body and my roasted corn. But the thing is, I just realized that, you know, it pays to be very deliberate about, you know, your perception and how you want to be perceived and all of that. Simple as your nails, your skin, everything. So, and you're not spending too much, right? But everything
we're going to talk about that as well.
Breath, your smell, your scent. Auntie, let us give the floor.
How you carry yourself
Let's
as a
give
person.
the floor to the madam.
Be it a man or a
people
woman.
don't, okay, for people that do not know, Noma Efanga is a lady of soul, heart, style, and class, whose exposure to makeup artistry exceeds just the paint and brush of external beauty to proper rearrangement of the internal mental shelves of confidence and poise. A passionate lady who believes that anything is possible if you only give yourself the permission. Noma is a master educator in behavioral change and refinement who uses her inside-out transformational experience and expertise in the area of appearance, behavior, and communication to help individuals and corporate organizations discover their unique identity that makes them distinct globally. So Noma Efanga is that person you need in your personal life and your organizational structure to be able to paint the image, the brand image of what you want your client or the person at the other end to see you and believe that you are. So she helps you to take you from that point of scruffiness, like where I was, to the point of poise and, you know,
and class.
And proper. All those things that I do not really like, but I have to do it. Well, thank you so much. So, in case people are wondering who Noma Efanga is, today you know her now.
And why she's always on point.
Always. She can't be caught off guard. Can I give you one story? I have to expose you.
I want to hear the last of that story.
Tell me about it.
So I went for all night. My first experience with Noma. Hey, Jesus.
All dressed up.
You know how somebody is going, I stopped going to one particular church. You know why? I stopped going to one particular church because they started this very early morning prayer. This was not when early morning prayer used to rain. This was they just started when my son was like a toddler. My son is 16 this year. So they just started the prayer. So me, I would just go, drop off my son at the crèche and wear my nightgown. They hear, I wear my nightgown to the church just to go and pray. So I go back home, shower, then go and about my business. That's how I just woke up one morning. I got to church. I saw eyelash, nails. I said, are we coming to pray or we are coming to do fashion parade? That was how I stopped.
Oh my God.
Only for me to meet Noma years later.
Lagos.
I was inside today is a good day. I was inside all night.
And she was all dressed up.
It's not even only dressed. If you see the smoky eyeshadow and the eyelash, I said, wait. Who comes for an all night? But thank you so much.
I can totally relate with you.
Oh my goodness. She forgot to put a part in that story. I was coming straight from my days every day. So
can I even shock you? She was still a breastfeeding mother. Oh God.
And then the next thing she says, who comes to an all-night service with eyeshadow?
But no, it's actually interesting, and I love having this conversation with you because for me, I've seen a lot of changes, transformation, and transitioning, you know, and I've seen how, you know, just being deliberate about things like that has made life a lot different, you know, and a lot so. You know, thank you so much again for joining us.
You're welcome.
So tell us, you know, we're discussing the relevance of appearance, behavior, and communication. We know right now we're in a world where everything matters.
Absolutely.
I mean, every single detail matters. And because we are in that world where it's in your face, you just say, hi, my name is Isi Ofodile. Somebody's already on Google checking who
Straight
Isi
up.
is. So the image and appearance and everything is even beyond just physical.
Totally.
Even your online presence, every single
It
thing
affects
matters.
every aspect.
You know, so
of
tell
it.
us, you know, how relevant is this, for today's world, and are we truly paying attention as a people?
I'm excited that we're talking about this, even though it is something that I'm very passionate about. But I would like to start from the place that I always use to make it easy for people to understand why it is important for them to pay attention in the area of appearance, behavior, and communication. And it comes from this, in the Bible, where it says the golden rule, where it says, do unto others the way you would have them do to you. A lot of people look out for what others are doing wrong, and they forget that they have several fingers pointing to them. And it should be a prompter to tell them that you need to pay attention. There are things that you need to. Every time you look out for the wrong in somebody else, there's 4 times over a reminder for you to look inwards. So it's not just about looking good. That's another mistake. So let me demystify it. Being polished is not being a snob, looking at people and wondering who is on my level or not, who measures up or not. That is not what it is. In fact, anyone who looks at people with snobbery is very shallow in thinking. Being mannered or polished, it's not about a boring set of rules and regulations about eating, forks and bowls, and all of those things. It has absolutely nothing to do with that. It has everything to do with consideration. And number 3, it's not old-fashioned. The same way being polished, being well-mannered, being groomed in the 18th or 17th or 16th century is how relevant it is in the 21st century. Now, to bring that as a background, when we're talking about why is it relevant for us to pay attention to our appearance, to behavior, to communication, these are 3 aspects of our life that whether we like it or not, like you rightly said, in today's world, even before now, people pay attention to what you represent, not just physically. Now it's gone beyond that. It goes online. It goes to your social media presence. It goes to what YouTube or Google has to say about you, right? So people look beyond, or first look at the image that you have created about yourself. And every single person has the ability to create an image for who they are. That is why I am Nome Fanga, and no one can be the polish coach like I would be. That's why Isi is Isi Ofodile, and no one can be the elocutionist like she is, because that is her image. No one can be like Uwasale, because there's a way your makeup and everything, who you are put together, represents you as an individual. Now, are people paying attention to that? No, because most of the time, people that you see in today's world, everybody is busy trying to survive. Let me put it that way. So first and foremost, a lot of people put survival first. So, Maslow's hierarchy of, people are looking for what to put in their bellies. So, yes, assuming that is the base, that's where we start. Okay, but there comes a time where you will know that except if you have not grown in your thinking and as a person, then you may not pay attention. But if you are one who is open to learning, at some point you will realize that, for where I'm going, this no longer represents, if I was living on survival mode before, now I have suddenly grown beyond that point to a point where, it's no longer about the next meal. It's about how do I even plan myself? How do I arrange myself? What kind of impact? What space do I want to occupy? What impact do I want to make? And how do I get there? So that's how you begin to transition. Who you were yesterday shouldn't be who you are today. Totally. Something has changed. Yeah. You have opened yourself to some learning that you say, maybe I should add this on. So it's for somebody who continuously looks for opportunities to grow, then you will always be dissatisfied about where you are per time, and you will always open yourself to those opportunities that continue to help you to do that. But until people come to that point where they are students of life, they cannot grow beyond the survival mentality that has completely eroded a majority of the citizens that you see around. So it's the beginning part, and it is important that all of us pay attention to how we appear, behavior, and communication. Because, like I said, it's not about snobbery. It's not it's not something that is for a particular group of people to enjoy. Everybody is deserving of respect, of honor, of dignity, whether they are aware of it or not. And if somebody is polished, then you will know that people are deserving, even if they're poor. Back in the days in the 16th century, you see somebody who is looking all shriveled, but he's still wearing a coat. He will still wear a jacket. He will still wear a hat. And then when they pass somebody, he's looking filthy, but he's still presented in a certain way. He would tip his hat.
Totally.
Do you understand?
No,
so all of those things. So when you see it's not about poverty. It's not about class or status or gender and all of that. Everybody deserves respect.
Absolutely.
If I see a poor person, even if I can't help you, I can. Sometimes on the road when you're driving, you see some of those young boys begging. Sometimes just a wave. To even come, I do not have, when we're gradually becoming a cashless society, so I may not have the means to help you now. But at least, do I have a drink? Do I have a bottle of water? I've given somebody, but at least drink water and calm down.
Nerves.
Something. I have accorded respect to that person and honor.
Totally.
Who says that in the recesses of their minds that they would that singular act of respect and honor will not register in such a way that it will be paid forward?
Okay, on that note, we are coming back to you. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. Thanks for staying with us. Now, if you just tuned in, we are having an amazing chat with Noma Ifanga on how relevant is appearance, behavior, and communication in today's world. Now, please, let's hear what you have to say. Remember, you can join the conversation. Send us an SMS or WhatsApp to 081-803-4663. You can also tweet at us at WayShowAfrica1 with the hashtag WayShow. All right, EC, you wanted to ask a question?
Yes.
I'm speaking your language.
I'm speaking my language. Respect is crucial.
Absolutely.
It's so important.
Absolutely.
And that's why in today's society, when somebody doesn't accord you a certain level of respect, you tend to, walk away from that person because probably, like you stated, snobbery is being shallow, totally shallow. Now, you said something else about being an old school. I'm an old soul, basically. I believe in the 18th century stuff. I believe that you should court a woman. I believe you should behave in a particular way. I believe you should dress in a particular way. But we have something that we have today, which is between trendy and classy and trashy as well. So can you throw more light into it and in terms of appearance, behaving, appearance, and communication?
All right. Issy, thanks for that question, because I'm all clad, probably all the way to my neck. But I want to believe that I look presentable. Totally. I want to believe that I look extraordinary. And I want to believe that somebody will be attracted to me. Totally. Whether or not that can work. Somebody's eyeing me.
You're attracting the right clout to you with what you're wearing.
So who you are should be represented in what you choose to wear. A lot of people do not know that sometimes you attract the wrong kind of people just because of what you're wearing.
Totally.
And I do not have anything against people who feel so comfortable with themselves, exposing themselves, because there are certain personalities, of course, time will not allow us to go into that. There are certain personalities that are confident enough to be able to, expose themselves in that direction. But the point is, in dressing, there are just some key things. Dress for comfort. That is very key. I see a lot of people struggle, and I'm wondering, why did you put yourself into this situation when you could have just been comfortable? You can be comfortable, but not tacky. Because some people think that when you are comfortable is to wear joggers and slippers.
Yeah.
And that is for your bedroom.
Yeah.
That is for the bedroom.
You just thought a very sensitive I'm looking at you.
So comfort, yes. Dress for comfort. Dress to be addressed. There's a way you will come out and somebody will see you, and instead of telling you, hey baby, they will tell you, hello, even if they don't know your name. Hello ma'am or madam or something.
Totally.
So wait. Some of us like our shorts.
Right.
And we don't. So I think, right, this subject of dressing should be based on what you do, your job, right? Some people, like me, if you leave me, I'm a sneaker girl any day, anytime. I hate to wear shoes. I hate to wear dress up. I like my joggers. I like my t-shirts. I like all of those things, right?
Totally.
That's what I love to wear. But I just realized that, okay, there are some places that I'm going to be going to that certain things do not apply.
Totally.
But so that it doesn't look like, at all point, because it is also tiring. I cannot be like this at all.
That's the interesting thing. Can I just respond very quickly to that's the interesting thing. With whatever personality you are, there is style that you can add to it to still make you look presentable. Even if you're someone who wears shorts, for example, imagine that, okay, you had some formal and you decided, I really want to wear a pair of shorts. What of putting on a cape on it or something? There's a way you can dress it up. There's a way you can dress it down, depending on where you are going.
But I want to ask the question, though, because again, you see, we are so focused. Like I said, we're in a superficial world where it seems like everything is about what you look like. Then I size you up from head to toe, Gucci shoe, Balenciaga bag. I see a diamond necklace and association lipstick. Yeah, I want to go and hear. I want to speak with her. But people begin to forget that there is content and there's a container. So we are so focused on the container, then the content within. So if we're talking appearance, behavior, and communication, I believe that in that, right, everything also there's a container part of it and there's a content part of it. So how do we translate that into what we bring out, from our mouth? Because again, out of the abundance of the heart,
the mouth
speaks. So some people, they look all put together, everything just on point.
A lot of people
Totally.
But you start a conversation and the
nothing.
person is empty. Right, so you still would not land the big jobs. You won't get those deals
because you have
signed
no
because you don't have any content inside. So how do we marry it? Because what I see now is a lot of packaging. A lot of people just want to look a certain part, but inside they are really empty. So you still get to that point where you're struggling to get the content, the bag, right? To get the money. So how do we marry that where this ABC applies within and without, like outside and inside?
That's very important, Uwa, because it's not just about appearance. That's what a lot of people need to understand. Polished behavior cuts across every aspect of your life. It cuts across your attitude. It cuts across your the value that you can bring to the table. So it's a lot what you have in today's world is that a lot of people pay more attention to the container than the content. The container is important, but the content is even more important. Imagine when people go out and then they see very pretty lady. Because a lot of people think women are dumb blondes, right? So just pretty on the outside, pretty nothing face, inside. Totally. And then they engage in a conversation and then you take it right up. It's like the impression usually is, wow, who is this? The next thing they want to connect. Can I have your number? Can I have your contact? And the truth of it is about content is not even about knowing everything. It's just about knowing a little
key things
of everything.
A little of everything, just to be able to contribute to a conversation. So people need to pay more attention to the content, because that is where training comes in. You might be pretty on the outside, but how are you building yourself in the inside? They say that how you know leaders is the quality of the books they read or the things that they expose themselves to. The exposure, how are you viewing, even if you can't travel, for example, what are you checking on social media? Some people are checking other people looking successful and living successful lives, spending so much time watching people who have built themselves. How are you building yourself? How are you searching for things that concern or helps you to continue to grow? What's your word bank like? How much English or how much words do you know how to add? You know, how each day, I have this dictionary that pops up every day. I say word of the day. And that's how I add. So, nice. I find out the meaning and then I try to use it in the course of the day. And somebody hears it, oh, this person sounds very, very intelligent. It's because you are adding value to your content and you're being deliberate about it. You're not focusing on your container alone. So we need more and more people who can, because even though it tells on the quality of citizens that you churn out.
Yes.
And that's why the education sector in Nigeria is very, very important. It's very crucial, because if we do not get it right in the education sector, it's going to determine the quality of human beings we're going to be churning out in today's world and how relevant they are going to be. Because some of them feel like a big fish in small pond until you throw them into the ocean and they find out that they are such tiny fish in big pond. So we must be able to get it right in that area.
You know, I was going to say that in today's world, your competition is not within your, it cannot even be in the country. So that's why it's important that, you know, at every opportunity you're given, let it not be that you did not come 100%, right? Because today's world, who I'm going to be competing with might be somewhere in Tokyo or in Japan or in somewhere in Singapore or in the US.
What do they know? What are they exposed to? How have I exposed myself? How have I exposed myself to what they know?
I'm online. What am I using my internet time for? Am I using it to be, you know,
am I searching for content that continues to upgrade me as a person?
Or I am bringing myself, you know, just being all about the place. So people don't understand that it is important until you begin to lose a lot of transactions and you're now wondering what's happening.
If I may step in, I was going to, you talked about the fact that, you know, what do you do with your time online, and some people do not come in with 100% because they do not know what you're supposed to do as well. And that I want to know where where confidence plays, what was the role of confidence in this aspect, basically, because some people might not even know what they're supposed to do. They don't even know that, oh, I'm supposed to upgrade myself in this area, I'm supposed to do this, and this might be tending towards the fact that they lack confidence in themselves. So what's the role of confidence, developing your confidence to actually achieve that goal of behaving and appearing and communicating right?
Thank you, Issy. You know, confidence, I've seen people who are illiterate be very confident. Now, let me tell this joke. There's a man, of course, from our climes, the Igbo people, and he went to buy a car. And then he says, oh, I want to buy this Pathfinder. You know, and then the sales representative said, oh, sorry, sir, it's Pathfinder.
You know the name.
He said, really? Say, you know the name? I drive the car. I drive the car, you know the name. Right? So there are people who are not that enlightened, but they are confident in that, because confidence has a lot to do with how you feel about yourself. Some people are educated, but they lack confidence because they do not feel good about who they are. So it's a struggle, right? So for the person who is confident and doesn't have the finesse, it's just about getting somebody like me, Polish Coach, to train.
Norma, I was going to say that, you know, my sister begged me that I needed to watch some series on Netflix. The one that they say Crazy Rich Africans, or what's that one? The one that Annie Dibia was
Okay,
in.
yes, I saw
Rich
that.
and Famous or something.
Rich
and Famous, yeah.
Honestly speaking, watching that series and watching Annie Dibia, I felt really sorry for her. I felt sorry that, you know, you have so much, but because you've not grown into that level of confidence, there was so much, there were so many things that pointed how small she saw herself, first of all, how inferior she felt, and how insecure she was. It was so glaring throughout that thing. I literally was wondering, like, can somebody be like that, where you think everything about your life is dependent? And where I'm going with the conversation is, sometimes the fact that you have crossed to the point where you have money and you can afford a lot of things does not mean that you know how to appear, you know how to behave, and you know how to communicate. People mistake that, and that's why they are focused on the container. You are looking the part, but you can't sit down in a conversation. And when you said know a bit of everything, like there is no conversation you throw me inside now today, as
Talk
of today,
about football,
that I cannot
that
contribute, because again it took years
to
of
grow.
grooming myself. Right?
Totally.
People don't pay attention to this thing. So when I watched that thing, I felt miserable on her behalf. I felt so sorry for her that really, even the two-face that we say, oh, he didn't go to school and all those things. He was a lot more confident. He was a lot more presented. He appeared better. He communicated better. He behaved a lot better. So I'm saying that this thing is deeper. Because you know why? You can be in a room and you have the capacity to control $1 billion.
Totally.
But this thing here can make you walk away with nothing because you did not present
Develop
yourself
your
at 100%.
Totally.
So people just pay. They don't look at this thing and they look at it and they say it's nothing. It's a big deal.
It goes a big way.
I
It goes a
totally
long
agree
way.
with you that it's a deeper thing, because the truth of it is that a lot of us do not know that we have unconsciously been programmed to believe that we are nothing and that we cannot amount to anything. And it would take somebody who tells themselves the truth, finds out that there is something that I'm dealing with and I need help in this area. Unfortunately, a lot of people come face to face with that truth, but they are unwilling to confront it or to work on it. So they continue to struggle. Unknowingly to them, everybody can literally see beyond them that they have a struggle, that they are insecure, or that they have problems with themselves. So for confidence, for somebody who is lacking confidence, there are certain things you might want to deal with. You might need a therapist to take you through the process of going through maybe your background, what brought you to be the person that you are today. I, at some point in my life, had to go through therapy because I found out that it's not that I was not I was invisible in some ways, because I came to one understanding, which I went through, came to that understanding that I did not matter, or that I didn't have a voice. So I spent all of my time working to help other people to find their voice. So you were opening the door, but you did not walk through that door. So when I went through therapy, I realized that I have been standing at that door and not giving myself the permission because of what people were going to say, that I'm too powerful for them to understand. And I came to realize that, see, your power is enough. As big as the sky is, all of the stars, there's no star that has fallen down to say, oh, there was no space for me. They are all shining in their different capacities. So we all have room to shine. Don't be afraid of your of the light that you carry. So when I came to that consciousness, I did not care. I knew that for me, that I had to shine, because I needed to give a lot of people permission
more
to
light
do the same.
as well. Okay, so let's take some comments,
Okay, and my comment goes thus. May I?
Go ahead.
All right, and my comment goes thus, says, greetings ladies, my special greetings to our able guest Norma Honestly, I can totally relate to what you are saying. Not minding my my appearance. Thank you so much for today's topic. You ladies really made my night. This is from Gift of Four from Luanda, Angola.
Oh, thank you, Gift.
And there is one more comment, though there's no name here. It says, whenever I'm passing, if I don't have money to give them, I will say hello to them,
okay, that's to
and
the beggars.
they'll be happy with me. That's right. From someone who didn't live.
Our regular fan, hey, Jesus, Daniel, we don't beg you. Keep the message short. But meanwhile, we're looking for what's that guy from Jalingo? Bobby Kennedy. I hope you're okay. We've not heard from you in a while. So good evening, my beautiful sisters of What Are You Saying? #ways. Concerning the relevance of appearance, behavior, and communication in today's world, people need to go back to school to learn it. Sister Norma said it all. People who are snobbish have a shallow brain.
Totally.
Me personally, I am Daniel Ilo and will forever be. I happen to be a very nice and friendly person, but you need to see the countenance of people when I want to make them my friends. It is very discouraging and frustrating. Totally. They're not friendly at all. It is as if the ground should open and swallow me. Concerning outright and total ban on Okada, there is no crime in the ban. But when you look at the traffic system in Nigeria, that has not improved and getting worse by the day. We need to meet up going somewhere. So anyhow, we still need the Okada to maneuver the traffic. Thank you so much, Daniel. So one more comment from me, then I'll come to you. Okay, that person that sent his name is Talib Jaliba, the one that says he says hi to beggars. Okay. Let me see, from Austin. Okay, so appearance is important from Delta State, Austin, Delta State. It's like the picture we were painted about crazy dressing she saw in the church. Let us be careful. That some pastors allow near nakedness in church does not mean it's fine. Dress up to fit the occasion you are attending.
Absolutely.
What you wear to church, picnic, party, or interview can't be the same. Why should I not pay attention to the container? For communication, let us be careful when to be formal or informal. I feel uncomfortable when an opposite sex asks me, how was your night? And when we're not close while doing business. While discussing business. So I think that how was your night is a question that a lot of people have come up with. I think what I do is I hope you had a good sleep. Right, Nama? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't ask people how was your night. Hope you had a good sleep, and that's all I say.
In elocution, we usually say you don't ask someone.
You don't even ask. I think it's a Nigerian thing,
right?
It's basically it's a culture shock for some people to come back and say, "How's your night?" So what are you talking about?
You can rephrase it in such a way that it wouldn't seem like you're asking, especially if the person has a spouse or something.
God bless your guest today. No, people are loving you. Watching with my wife, and you hit the nail on the head on many things. I've been sharing with her the importance of. This is from Charles from Kaduna. Norma, you have a final comment.
All right. Yes, I do have this one from Benson, and it says, "Greetings, ladies. Summary of it is like watching the iceberg. Container is what we all see above the water. The size of the ice beneath. How much is it? Good show." So just to comment, because some couple, and that's why some people even grow apart, because one person is growing while the other person continues to stay like that. I was listening to the radio the other day, and somebody said that she had been trying to tell her husband, dress up this way. He feels like he goes for business, so he doesn't need to. They say it doesn't. And then one day she was traveling to the airport, or she was traveling, and he took her to the airport. Of course, he didn't listen to her. And then he met his old classmates, looking all dressed up, that she pretended that he wasn't even her husband. So it's important in this growth process for people who are married or people in a relationship. Find someone who you can, or if you're already connected, find a way to grow together. It's very, very important. And for Daniel, I think he said trying to make friends and then somebody snubs you. Another thing that I learned, and that's very important about confidence, it's okay for someone to say no to you, but it is not you're not the cause of their problem.
Totally.
Sometimes people are, they cannot deal with your presence and your power. So they try to snub you off. Don't think that you are the problem. They are the ones that have the problem, because most times perception is projection. How people perceive themselves is how they're going to project it on us.
It's okay. You have given please, for those that do not know, wait, let me finish my point. Some of us paid money. Look at me very well. Some of us, we paid money for this thing. So you go and pay money. It's okay. Don't talk too much again. I have resourceful people on my team, so we don't just brag, but we know where we're going. But thank you so much, Noma. We had fun. I think we should do this more often. So what I want us to do, I'm still trying to wrap up my head around it. A lot has been pressing on my mind for us to turn our Wednesdays to something where we're able to give back a lot of things. And I have been getting a lot of good reviews. So very soon we'll be making very good announcements for people. And the give back cuts across everything. And trust me, it is massive, and we're looking forward to it. We're going to be starting that very soon, so look forward to watching us every Wednesday. So Norma will be coming back to give us more tips. We can just start a locution class one day.
Some of the words, mispronounced words.
I'm telling you, we should do a show on that.
I do that sometimes.
No, on the show.
And it's not about phone.
It's okay. The same should wrap up.
It is about the sound.
It's okay. Before we go, do ensure you follow us on Instagram, so Way Show Africa. You can drop a comment and interact with us further. Make sure you follow all our engagements on social media. Like, share. Please, most importantly, invite other people to watch. You can't be loving us alone. Share the love. So if you missed today's quote, here it is again. Refinement is that polishing down of the human being, casting out that which is coarse and vulgar, and retaining that which is fine and elegant. Oh, you see me like this? I'll see you guys tomorrow at 8 p.m. as we bring another great conversation to your screen.
Businesses in Africa can be very challenging. In Nigeria, it is particularly intimidating, and successful builders have learned how to navigate a hostile environment to unlock opportunities. But one major challenge businesses face is how to filter through the noise and identify where their ideal customers exist. Get insight and practical steps from industry players and captains of industries. Hear success stories to help you make informed decisions as you scale your business in Nigeria. Watch Business Insights at this time on Plus TV Africa.
You're welcome to yet another episode of Plus Trending. My name is Elile, and on this show we talk about everything and anything trending across the social media space, and of course why they are trending. Nigerians have demanded justice as a sound engineer simply identified as David Imo, aged 38, has been burnt to death by a mob in the Lekki area of Lagos State. According to a friend who took to Twitter to demand justice for his killing, Dave and Philip, a keyboardist, boarded a motorcycle to a venue on Admiralty Way, Lekki, where David was setting up for a show. The motorcyclist was said to have conveyed the duo to the destination when an argument bordering on 100 naira change ensued between all of them. The argument was said to have degenerated into a fight as the motorcyclist sought the support of other motorcyclists who intervened in the matter. During this intervention, the motorcyclists were said to be attacking David and Philip, The other Hausa men around the area doubled up and beat the two men using sticks, stones, and whatever they could lay their hands on. The video recorded the whole act, and in the video, they were heard boasting, "We be Hausa men." They beat Dave to death, but they didn't stop there. They poured fuel on him and set his body ablaze, burning him beyond recognition. The saxophonist, Frank, who was also their friend, went to the scene to try to assess the situation and possibly separate them, but he was beaten to coma and is currently fighting for his life alongside Philip. The Nigerian police have reportedly arrested 4 people over this gruesome act, whilst a manhunt for the others have ensued. When contacted, the spokesperson for the Lagos State Police Public Relations Officer, Mr. Benjamin Hundeyin, confirmed the accident. In his words, "It is true, our men acted promptly. 4 suspects have been arrested. We have launched a manhunt for others involved. The police will ensure prosecution of everyone involved. We will keep advocating against jungle justice." We also urge parents, religious leaders, and political leaders to join the advocacy against jungle justice, he said. We had justice for Dave trending at #1, as Nigerians have demanded that his killers be brought to book. Here are some of these tweets. Atokbe the King says, "This is my brother-in-law, one of the nicest people I have ever met, brutally and unjustly killed by Hausa bikemen because he was having a misunderstanding with one of their bikemen. Lagos is no longer safe. Hausa people are armed and they are wicked." Atrikiti says, "How someone was burnt in Lekki Phase 1 with all the police checkpoints inside Lekki Phase 1? If it is to harass boys driving Benz, we'll see police NG doing what is going on in this country." Adije KY says, "Killing someone and setting the person you just killed ablaze right there in Lekki Phase 1 on Admiralty Way, directly opposite popular joints at the early hours of the night. And you start to wonder, which of us is next?" At T for Taiwo says, "You people are only good at talking. He was beaten and burnt alive, and people drove and passed by without doing a single thing. Even those who drove by will come on Twitter screaming #justice for Dave, like they actually care. The only thing you all are good for is cry justice for XYZ and move on." Now, I watched some of these clips online, and my goodness, when the things get this bad, killing people for whatever we please, is this supposed to be like the new pattern? Last week it was Deborah. Today it's Dave. Whom are we going to chant justice for next? Here are some more reactions. I wish Frank and Philip a speedy recovery, and may the soul of David rest in peace while his killers are made to pay for their acts. There is more sad news as an explosion on Tuesday morning rocked Sabon Gari, Fage local government area of Kano State. The explosion went off at a school in Aba Road, leaving parents running helter-skelter to pick their children. Although initial reports said the explosion took place in a primary school in the area, Kano State government said the explosion, which affected buildings around the area, including a primary school, was from an animal food shop opposite the school along Aba Road. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, which also corroborated police accounts that the explosion was caused by a gas explosion, said its personnel recovered 9 bodies from the scene of the incident, including children, while others were injured. With the hashtag Kanu trending on Twitter, Nigerians have expressed their sadness and sympathies, as well as the anger for the loss of lives, most especially children. Now let's take a look at some of these reactions. As What's Poppin says, authorities have confirmed that the rumored bomb blast in Kano was a gas explosion. But as expected, agents of darkness have already started spreading it as an attack on Christians. We can't allow it continue like this. We need to separate and let everyone go his own way in this country. At Mr. Macaroni says, my heart goes out to all the families of those feared dead in the explosion at the Sabongari area of Kano State. Multiple reports confirm that it was a gas cylinder that caused the explosion. May our land be healed because Otisumi, man. At Dr. Penking says, imagine taking your child to school and kissing her goodbye only to return and meet her charred body. May Kanu not happen to any of us. Amen to that. Ada Emperor 007 says, I'm eager to know if it was a domestic gas cylinder that caused this. Has the police gotten there, cleared the rubbles, and conducted preliminary forensics so quick that they have released a statement confirming the cause? That level of effectiveness is not on this planet. Now, you've seen this video, so I need not say much, but my heart breaks at how terribly uncertain life and living is in this country. It's almost as if one day, one sad news. May the souls of the faithfully departed rest in perfection. We've come to the end of the show today, but do tell all your opinions on this episode by using the hashtag #PlusTrending or send us a message on WhatsApp. Thank you so much, as always, for joining me on the show today. Do not forget to tune into Plus TV Africa on StarTimes channel 308 and DSTV channel 408, or visit our social media pages and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa Lifestyle and at Plus TV Africa for more trending topics. My name is Elile, and I do not need to overemphasize this, but please stay safe and have a good night rest.
So what are the top decisions that the United States considers necessary that Nigeria must take? I like to think of my interactions as conversations, not interviews. And that's why I say asking questions is both an art and a science. Everyone says in Islam you are allowed to have 4 wives. Is it mandatory? The right question enables answers that educate, inform, clarify, and help you, the viewer, to better understand the issue before making up your mind.
Our goal is to reduce from 10 to 2 days the time it takes to register businesses in Nigeria.
Join me every week on this station, Plus TV Africa, and gain exclusive access to my conversations. I'm Angela Ajetumobi.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
500 naira they collect them.
If you no talk, then go beat you.
Now 2,500 they pay.
I was pushed to the point that I had to start something not numb. And I'm a big risk taker and I enjoy doing things that nobody really does. I wanted something different from every other art form that has been pushed out there. I didn't have that fulfillment in what I was doing and I really wanted to express myself more as an artist, and I decided to resign and go into practicing art full time. I loved subjects that had illustrations or drawings in them. I just kept pushing it and went to the extent of studying art in school, so it's been art all my life for me. I try to conceptualize what I want to create in my head. Even in as much as scattered as it might be, I create it in my head first, then I put it on paper. I sketch, then I try to pick colors, and I proceed to the main piece. A friend of mine told me, like, there's really nothing that could be achieved with graffiti here. The piece behind me is titled Bold Steps. So I'm just trying to put my own as an abstract journey of African fashion has come so far. The word there is Ikeakpa. Ikeakpa is a Bini word for movement. So we are it's just a movement, and you know, we have the shoes here which shows the flow and the storm which the movement creates, you know, while working. I'm Osa 7. I'm an African urban artist and design consultant.
Alopecia is a rare condition among women in Nigeria, and because of this, many people are not well informed of this condition. We spoke to Moshudat Badmos, who shared her journey with us.
I was preparing for service. I went to the salon to wash my hair. I was on dreads then. And when I got to the salon, the hairdresser, she hadn't even like started washing my hair. She was just like separating the dreads, and she saw the bald spot. So just small, like a coin shape around here. So when she said, she was like, Auntie Shefari in Yoruba means, Auntie, did you like scrape your hair? I was like, why would I scrape my hair? Like, there's a spot here, like a bald shiny spot, and showed me. And I was like, no, what's this? So that day I was scared. I just quickly packed my hair. I told her not to even wash it again. I went home and I told my mom, like, something happened at the salon, and my mom was like, this is spiritual. Talo Fanri, Talo Wale, you know, like, you know, Nigerian mothers. So we started thinking, did anybody come? Because that was the first thing that came to my mind, like, hair can't just disappear. It's something that is always like a part of you. It can't just disappear. So what happened? Then I went to camp. I went to camp the following week. And when I came back, the spot was still there. So that was when it started for me. And I started doing so many things. We took the spiritual route. Then it was like a month or two after. I just went online. And just like I searched in my symptoms and the signs I saw, the bald spots and all that, and I saw alopecia. So I told my mom, like, I saw something like alopecia. I'm like, oh no, she doesn't feel that as it. So I told her I wanted a second opinion, because we've been doing the whole spiritual thing. So like I wanted a medical opinion. So we went to see the doctor, and told me it was fungal infection. So I was placed on drugs. So I still wasn't convinced. I told my dad I want a third opinion. So he took me to his workplace and I saw the doctor they used there. And she was the first person that said, okay, this looks like alopecia. She doesn't even really know much about it, but she was like, she's going to refer me to Lutz Dermatology Clinic. It's at Yaba. So that was when I went there. So when I got there, that was in, I think around probably September or so. And I saw the nurse in charge. They were like, there is no appointment, there's no space available to see the doctor. The next appointment is going to be in 2016 March. So I told the woman, like, March care, like, no, I have to see the doctor because by then I already had like a lot of bald spots. It wasn't just one again, I had about 5 then. So I showed her my head. Like, she should just see it. Like, she wasn't even so, I felt it was something she probably has seen. She wasn't even so concerned. She's like, sis, there are people with worse conditions than you have that are on the list. I can't do anything. So I begged her, I was in tears, and she was like, okay, she's going to give me December, a space in December. She'll come back in December. Told me to come very early, that the clinic time starts by 8. So I got there 7. I was early. When I got there 7, I met a lot of people already. And when they started giving out numbers, I think the number ended at 25 or so. I think I was like number 29. So they told me, like, I won't be able to see the doctor, that I should come back the next day. So I started crying. Nobody understood why I was crying. And the woman was like, what happened? What? So I told her, like, ma, no, I can't come back in January. Like, I can't come back next year. I have to see the doctor today. So I just opened my scalp. And like, I had like, my hair was like, you know when they say rats chopped in someone's hair. So I had a lot of patches and it was really ugly. And everybody was like, oh. So the nurse looked at me and said, so look at people here, people with terrible conditions. There's nothing wrong with you. Just go back and you see the doctor when you see the doctor. She wasn't even so concerned and I just kept on crying. So people begged her and she gave me a number. So when I saw the dermatologist, she was like, you have alopecia. You're not special, you're just one of the few unfortunate ones. So there is no known cause, there is no cure for it. But since you have alopecia areata right now, we're going to place you on the treatment. You're going to take steroid shots for 6 months. So the steroid shots they give you on the bald spots. So I was happy, like, okay, finally, this is something I can do. So I went to my mom's sister's place then. So when I got to her place, she was like, oh, check calorie, like we should go see all these herbalists, people that are into herbal treatments and all. So we went there. The lady said, okay, she's going to prepare a bowl for me and all that. But first, I have to scrape my hair. So that day, I'd already taken the first steroid shots on my scalp. So I told the woman then that, no, I don't want to do the treatment. I would like to complete the steroid shots first. Then I'll come back after 6 months if it doesn't work. So my mom's sister told my mom, and my mom started shouting, like, no, why can't I do both together? It's just we're both looking for solution and all that. So she convinced me to like scrape off my hair. So I scraped it off and I started the herbal treatment too. But after scraping off my hair and I went for the next shots, it got worse. My hair started growing back, but the spot things, it didn't come back. So after the second shot, by the time I would go back for the third shot, my hair was completely gone. I had no hair. So when the guy wanted to give me the shots, the dermatologist that saw me that day, you know it's like a public health center, so you won't see the same doctor every time. So he didn't understand because normally you're supposed to give shots on the spots. So he called the head dermatologist and she was like, what happened? So I explained to her that I scraped it. Like, you shouldn't have scraped it out. The treatment is for partial hair loss. There is no treatment for total hair loss, so there's nothing you can do. So I was like, what? They were trying seeing me a whole lot of things and I had to leave. And they didn't give me another appointment date. They just told me to leave that they were going to call me. And until today, they never did. So that was it for me. And here we are.
Moshudat Badmos and Jasmine Oguns shared the most awkward experiences they've had living with alopecia.
For me, one of the ridiculous things I've heard about alopecia is when people ask that, do you have cancer? Because I feel it should be known that chemotherapy actually causes hair loss.
Yeah.
And a lot of people, I did a surgery in 2017, and I was in the hospital, and people came, nurses, and assumed that I was a cancer patient just because. To me, it's very ridiculous. Because you guys are in the line.
They should know better, exactly. Because actually, cancer does not lead to hair loss. What leads to hair loss is the chemo treatment. And for survivors, they grow their hair back. Because what chemo does is it kills the cells. And in the process of killing the cells, it kills the hair follicle as well. So at that point, the victim loses his or her hair. But after the chemo phase, once they survive that cancer phase, their hair grow back. So it's a different thing entirely. Alopecia and cancer are not the same. They are two different. That's why sometimes when we do our campaign, we emphasize on the fact that it is not cancer, it is alopecia, no alopecia. So they are two different things. Yeah, one ridiculous thing I've heard was when one spiritualist said, someone took my hair to the ocean. Now my hair is under the water, and I tried to sound sarcastic too because it didn't make any sense to me. I was like, okay, please tell me the person that took my hair to the ocean so that I can beg the person to give me my hair back. Because as it is, it's not useful for the person. And the person is not letting me use my hair. So let's beg the person to let me have my hair back. It's actually funny.
Another ridiculous thing is when you tell people, like you've explained to the person, I have alopecia.
God.
Alopecia is this, alopecia is that. God, they're like, oh my God, that's sad.
So why do you cut your hair?
And I'll be like,
we hear that a lot.
Like it is constant. Like you do awareness this year now. September is Alopecia Awareness Month.
Yeah.
We do awareness. You guys, we tell you so much about it. And next year, be like, you started this thing. Why did you cut your hair this year? God.
Another ridiculous thing. In fact, this one has been coming non-stop. During the interview I had with BBC Pidgin last year, I mentioned how my relationship failed, how the wedding introduction got called off 3 days to the wedding introduction by my supposed mother-in-law. And you won't believe the kind of messages that I've been receiving. Random men coming around, asking for my hand in marriage, out just like that, from nowhere. You don't know me, you don't know anything about me. And I'll be like, where is this coming from? I said, I saw your interview about your mother-in-law that called off your wedding. I'm like, for crying out loud. The interview was not even about marriage, it was about alopecia. So you're not bothered about the awareness I'm creating, you're bothered about marriage. But I didn't come on air to say I'm looking for a husband. I didn't say I am not dating or I'm not in a relationship. So it sounds ridiculous. Like it keeps coming, and every time I hear that, I just shake my head like, oh my God, not again.
Long or short hair, all women are beautiful. We need to create more awareness surrounding alopecia and eliminate every form of stigmatization towards those living with alopecia.
11-year-old Bobo Guy went from selling firewood and paper to becoming a wife so she could settle her mother's debt.
I was crying. I wanted someone to help, but we had no choice. The lenders were pressing hard.
More than 12 million underage girls like her get married every year, according to UNICEF.
I had not begun menstruating when I married. I started in my husband's house.
Some girls entering into early marriages are under pressure to continue cultural traditions. Others say they had limited options.
I married my daughter off because we had no place to live. Where could I keep her? If I was in a house with her, if I had my own house like now, of course I would have sent her to school. She would not have needed to marry at 11, 12, or 13. She could have been educated, found a job, or learned a trade.
Early marriages happen across societies. In the U.S., most states permit marriage before 18 if the individuals meet certain criteria. However, critics say many of these marriages take place to circumvent statutory rape laws that protect minors.
I met him about when I was like 13, 14. So one thing after another, after a few years, we just kind of ended up together. I got pregnant underage, and that was kind of what had us go ahead and get married so I wouldn't send him to jail.
The young wives are more likely to leave school, experience domestic abuse, and live in poverty compared to those who marry later, according to human rights activists.
I lost my childhood. I loved school and going to school, but they wouldn't let me.
As governments face international pressure to take action, individuals and groups are stepping forward to help young girls.
The night before the wedding, a local official came to our house to ask whether I wanted to marry. When I said no, he halted the ceremony.
Sultan Tumurdam found joy in her married life despite being forced into the union.
I had never met my husband. I didn't know him. With time, we got to know each other. I'm very happy now. Thank goodness.
But the case was different for many of the child brides VOA met over the course of this project. Now divorced or deserted, they are angry at losing their education.
I think if I had only continued my studies, I would not have to experience so much harassment from other people now. I could have found a good job.
Now mothers themselves, they say they regret their stolen childhoods and add they never want to see their children married young.
I am now fighting for my children so they don't end up like me. Someone has to fight for them.
The United Nations is trying to eliminate the practice by 2030. Jesus Amelni, VOA News.
It for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Buki November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
On Plus TV News now, President Buhari to determine fate of ministers who return to office after political adventure. A Minister of Finance suspends Accountant General of the Federation over 80 billion naira fraud allegation. Russian soldier pleads guilty to killing an unarmed civilian in the first war crimes trial. Good evening, I am Destiny Momo. This is the news now. The Accountant General of the Federation, Ahmed Idris, has been suspended indefinitely over alleged 80 billion naira fraud. He was suspended by the Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, today. The minister said the suspension without pay was to allow for proper and unhindered investigation in line with public service rules. Joining us now at this time is... Okay, before we go on this interview, we will take the next report. The Ministry of Finance, Budget and Economic Planning has presented to the Federal Executive Council the Phase 3 of the project Lighthouse, which has to do with the digital infrastructure for voluntary assets declaration schemes.
Is to enhance the debt recovery strategy initiative, sustainable long-term gains for the government, and build on additional capabilities in the debt recovery system. Minister of State for Finance, Budget and National Planning, Clement Agba, hinted this while briefing State House correspondents as part of the resolutions reached at the Federal Executive Council meeting.
The aim of this project, Lighthouse Phase 3, is to enhance the debt recovery strategy and initiatives, sustainable long-term gains for the government, building on additional capabilities in the system, and ensure that reliable data sets are mined, generated, and aggregated through interagency collaboration. The update on the Project Lighthouse application is on the debt recovery module, the corporate profiling engine as a government gateway, and then the Project Lighthouse website, federal government revenue performance management module, and capacity building.
FEC also approved 2 major memoranda from the Ministry of Works and Housing on the uptake by the private sector in response to the tax credit program, which was initiated in 2019 through the signing of the Executive Order 7. Works and Housing Minister Babatunde Fashola said this program allows the private sector to finance public infrastructure in using tax credit. 4 major critical roads were today awarded with a total contract sum of over 170 billion naira in Taraba, Kebbi and Niger states under the tax credit scheme.
One of those policy initiatives is the tax credit policy, which was signed as an executive order in 2019. Now we're in 2022, and what you will see now is that the appetite for private sector investment is increasing to fund infrastructure. We can see offtake by the Dangote Group on major roads like the Lekki Seaport Road, the Papalanto Road, the Kaduna Western Bypass, and 1 or 2 other roads now that I can't recall from memory that they are going to construct using the tax credit scheme. They've already been approved.
Also today, FEC approved the award of contracts for the establishment and deployment of the Advanced Reports Generation Utility Engine in a total sum of 553 million naira. This technology is to aid the operations of the Accident Investigation Bureau to be able to develop advanced report generation in the aviation sector.
This technology is going to aid the Accident Investigation Bureau to be able to establish and develop, the advanced reports generation, system. This system has tremendous benefits to both authorities and recipients of the information.
Meanwhile, the Executive Council has approved the National Agricultural Technology Innovative Policy as presented by the Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development. This is to create better synergy and alignment with the ministries, departments, and agencies to overcome inadequate coordination.
And the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, says he needs to confirm from President Buhari the fate of ministers who return to the cabinet after reneging on their political ambitions. He stated this while responding to questions from State House correspondents at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting. The affected ministers are those of Labour and Employment, Chris Ngige, Women Affairs, Dame Pauline Talon, and Justice Alhaji Abubakar Malami, and the Minister of State for Petroleum, Mr. Timipre Silva. And the federal government today said it has no plans to suspend Facebook over the alleged use of the platform to incite violence by IPOB. But addressing journalists after the Federal Executive Council meeting in Abuja, the Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed, said Facebook has assured that it will take action against posts that incite violence on its platform. And All Progressive Congress APC governorship aspirants in Adamawa State have faulted the alleged attempt by certain aspirants to replace genuinely recognized party delegates ahead of the governorship primary scheduled for May 20. Addressing a press conference, 3 aspirants, Umar Madawaki, Abdul Razak Namdas, and Wafari Themen, described the alleged development as unacceptable. The group explained that consensus candidacy has since been quashed since the party adopted indirect primary election.
When these congresses are conducted here in Adamawa, in fact, people have started compiling their own names. Some delegates have been calling us from various local governments, alleging that their names have already been removed as delegates, when the actual exercise have not just even commenced in the first place. So you can see we have a challenge already at heart. And we need to tell the world that we are party loyalists. We agree to what our party told us, and we agree with our leaders at the state and at the national level. Because this is not an anti-party thing, it's one thing. And all of us here, we have crisscrossed the whole state. We have seen our delegates. We spoke with them. We agreed that they are delegates. So if you go to a local government and you are allowed to talk to delegates, or you spoke with delegates, but only on election day, the man is no longer delegate, then that's a problem.
The aspirants said they have discussed with officials of the party in Abuja who will be in Yola to organize and monitor the process. And the APC has rescheduled its governorship and House of Representatives primary elections to Thursday, May the 26th. Mr. Felix Morka, the party's national publicity secretary, announced this today in Abuja while briefing newsmen at the end of the party's National Working Committee meeting. The APC governorship primaries were earlier scheduled for May 20. The APC scribe said that the party's Senate and House of Assembly primaries had also been rescheduled for Friday, May 27. Meanwhile, governorship primary elections are fast approaching and different aspirants are putting their acts together. In Abia State, the PDP is doing all it can to retain its mandate in 2023, and one of the aspirants, Mayor Lucky Bukwe, is insisting that if the party will put its best foot forward at the polls, he remains the best candidate for the ticket. We have him joining us tonight via Zoom. You're welcome to our Pride Time News, Mayor Bukwe.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening. And Abia people have since been yearning for inclusiveness in governance. How do you plan to achieve this?
Well, I'm on ground so far, and I'm also in touch with my people, home and abroad. I speak directly almost to them, and I know what they need, and I think we're ready to work and also work with everybody who is willing and who has something to offer in the States. When you talk about my people, we're talking about those on ground and those in diaspora who is willing to change the situation and the narrative of our dear state. I'm in touch with the people from the north to the south, from the south to the west. You know, we are ready to put things that will make a difference by having the point people all over the local governments who are ready to give us information of what is on ground and how we can be able to enhance them to improve the living of the people.
Okay, we know that people in Abia State are people with business and marketing strategy. So now that brings us to the question to Aba to the world. You know, the area market in Aba could have been an African hub if properly managed and adequately invested in. So do you have any blueprint for Aba market?
Yes, most definitely. Aba is the honeypot. Look at when you can see the wet right there, but the issue is how to harness it in order to generate funds into the states. Any state with Aba and well harnessed will make a lot of progress. We plan of working on infrastructure, improving on infrastructure, road. The market that needs to be relocated will be relocated to a very good place, build the roads in order to help the business people, and also help them by connecting them to the market bond, such as even CBN, by the state guaranteeing them on how to access funds. Then I have plans as well, putting up a cargo company through the Abia Transport line, helping them to move their goods without having a roadblocks that will increase stock to the end users. So we have a lot of things in stock in order to enhance the potentials of Aba.
Okay, so now Governor Okezie Ikpeazu has set the monthly IGR at 3 billion naira. He's even looking at the possibility of 5 billion naira. So what are you promising in this regard, and how do you plan to go about it?
Okay, by the time we fix the infrastructure of Aba, relocate the market to a very good place for the business people, helping them with how to move their goods into Abia State, into Aba, then also helping them with money market bond. You will know that definitely we're going to increase on the IGR even above 10 billion. It's all about the energy, who is willing to use a different approach in order to increase the well-being of the people, especially in Aba. And you also know that Aba has a lot of talented people. And in my 7 key agenda, I have a program called Loan Accessibility. Oh, Nigeria.
Okay.
The loan accessibility is we setting up something like a microfinance, helping them to have assets. You know, recently, they have difficulty in accessing dollars to buy goods outside the country.
Okay, okay. All right, we want to thank you so much for this information so far. We would have been able to ask more questions, but for time. So thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. To continue the news, the Federal High Court sitting in Osogbo today affirmed Senator Ademola Adeleke of the PDP as the authentic candidate of the party in the forthcoming July 16 governorship election in the state. Justice Nathaniel Ayo Emmanuel, in his judgment, which lasted for more than 1 hour 30 minutes, held that the primary election conducted at the Workdeep Center, Osogbo, on March the 8th, which produced Dotun Babayemi, was null and void. And PDP, during its governorship primary elections on March 8, had held parallel primaries in the state.
It's actually a victory for the democracy of this country, because looking at the nature of the action that was brought, when it was served to us, I was wondering, how would somebody bring this kind of action? First, they predicated it on a certain a judgment of Osun State High Court, which actually held that a certain preservative order of Falola J of 9th of November 2020 was valid, even though Court of Appeal had set it aside since 5th of March 2021. But the Federal Court of Osogbo rightly held, because we exhibited the judgment before the court, rightly held this morning that the same preservative order was accordingly set aside, because the Court of Appeal allowed the appeal and resolved all the issue in favor of the appellant in that appeal.
We have had the ruling of the court. The court ruled on the local standing of myself to challenge the primaries that were held at the stadium. And the judgment would be available within the next 24 hours. I want to say that this is purely a family affair. We will take the judgment when it's available. We'll review it, not just with our lawyers, but with our people.
And also, a federal high court in Abuja today struck out the newly amended 6-count filed against Nnamdi Kanu by the federal government. The decision followed the withdrawal of the charge by the federal government. The withdrawal came after Kanu's lawyer, Mike Ozekome, complained that the prosecution was trying to delay processes by continuous amendment of the charge against his client. Ozekome told the court that it was the 7th time the federal government was amending its charge. And bandits have attacked commuters along the Abuja-Kaduna highway, abducting an unspecified number of travelers. The bandits had, at about 4:20 p.m., blocked the Audu-Ogbe portion of the highway near Katari village. They intercepted some vehicles and during the process took some persons away to an unknown destination. However, normalcy was immediately returned to the highway following the clearance operation by the police. The incident comes almost 2 months after the deadly train attack by terrorists at Dutse Forest in Chikun local government area of Kaduna State. And the Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu has banned the operations of commercial motorcycles in 6 local governments. The governor announced that the ban is indefinite and total. The 6 local governments listed by the governor are Ikeja, Surulere, Etiosa, Lagos Mainland, Lagos Island, and Apapa. The governor gave out the directive at a meeting with the Commissioner of Police, area commanders, and DPOs at the State House in Alausa. The fresh ban followed the February 2020 restriction placed on the activities of commercial motorcycles. The ban comes days after Okada riders killed a young man in the Lekki area of Lagos State over 100 naira balance.
The whole of Ikeja local government, the whole of Sule local government, the whole of Etiosa local government, the whole of Mainland local government, the whole of Apapa local government, and the whole of Lagos Island local government. A total ban on this and all of the highways effective from the 1st of June. This is the first banning that we're going to be embarking on, so that others know that in a short while it's either to get out or for something else to do. And from 1st of June, there are LCDs that are underneath them. We're going to publish them. We're going to list all of them. And so we're given the notice now, right, where you can begin to do your recce, begin to do, your strategy. From the 1st of June, please to want all of the Okada to be completely off this major road.
It is still a harrowing experience for commuters and motorists plying in Akpongbon area of Lagos State since the collapse of a part of the Akpongbon Bridge and subsequent closure. The traffic gridlock to adjoining areas have increased. Our correspondent Uyime Afia reports on the visible frustration.
Months after the tragic fire incident that damaged a section of Akpongbon Bridge, the situation has expectedly worsened. Traffic gridlock is one of many pains for commuters, drivers, and traders who ply this axis daily.
The traffic, when you lock the road down, the traffic is much. We are trying to appeal to federal or to state government to help us to know the alternative route to create for us so that you can enable vehicles to move freely on the road.
from this place to Pangu, which is 200 naira, have been going up to 500 naira. Simply, the transporters are being complained that the hold up is too much. Then the diversion being going down there before they turn around, before they should come back to this place and pass this place. It have given from that place you can use almost 2 hours before you can get to this place.
He helps so many people a lot. He helps people are selling. People are going to work. More than, most people are taking this bridge because of this market.
They should leave us here. We manage ourselves. Now one person for 4 people for one shop, 3 people for one shop. Where we fall, they should allow us to get up from that place. Even though they want to carry us go another place, she won't be like it. She won't be as it be now. Where we fall, they should allow us to get up from that place. We beg federal, Lagos State and federal government, they should please, they should consider us. We need mercy from the federal government.
The closure of the bridge has spilled traffic to adjoining Igamu, Orile and Costain. Meanwhile, under the bridge, Plus TV News cited some engineers, but no serious work was being done. They refused to speak to us. Lagosians plying Akpombo area may have to wait more longer for the bridge to be rehabilitated, as it is not clear this would happen soon. Uyime Afia, Plus TV News.
A Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps NSCDC Ondo State Command has established 25 grievance management centers, GMC, across all the civil defense formations to address any conflicts in the state. Dr. Hamed Aboduring, NSCDC State Commandant, made the disclosure during the one-day workshop for divisional officers in collaboration with the Partners for Peace in the Niger Delta held on Tuesday in Akure. The theme was building a resilience in the agitated world. The commandant charged the divisional officers not to wait in their various divisions until people brought complaints to them, but they should be proactive.
This kind of training hub, because we are it seems that we are in an agitated world where everybody is angry, particularly even for nothing. At times, when you have grievances that have not been addressed, you are likely going to become violent. So that is why we are training our personnel. They will go back to their various divisions in Ondo State to establish what we call Grievances Management Center.
Thinking alike and thinking together to build a formidable structure in building resilience in this world of agitation. Nigeria nowadays, you see here and there agitations of different things or the other. Security issues, educational issues, economic issues. Everybody is angry. And what can we do? Ours, in our little level, feel by the time everybody is sensitized, awareness created, is going to calm nerves.
So what we are doing today is to train the leaders of the Peace Corps in all areas in Ondo State and other stakeholders together with members of the Ondo State chapter of the Partners of Peace so that we can work together. We bring a team work together.
Nigerians speak on the need for regular medical checkups as untreated cases of hypertension doubles, and that's on Street Views. Take a listen.
But as far as I'm concerned, people are very, very scared about going to hospital to check up. Simply because the day they go to hospital to check for their, to ask about their checkup, about their health-wise, whatever, when they tell them you are carrying social disease in your body, it will be like, what's all this? So their days of death will start counting from that day. So that's why you see many people, they'll be running for it. And if you look at it, average of Nigerians are dying every day simply because of ignorance, of not going to do their medical checkup.
Some believe going to the general hospital involve a hectic tax. That you want to go to the general hospital, it's a thing that probably take a whole day to do. Then, while others that want to go to private hospital, consider the financial issues. That is not easy go by.
The truth is bitter. You still have to check your health because, like I said, health is wealth. It's very important to do the checkup before it's too late. Once it's too late, there's no going back. Yeah, it's quite expensive. We all know medical aspects in Nigeria is expensive. So we're still waiting if the government can still try and make something affordable for everybody.
They will say, go and do this test, 50,000. Go and do that test, 100,000. Even people that don't have money, that carry ordinary fee for there, and I tell them to go and do tests of 150,000, 30,000. Where would they get the money? Immediately they add the price of the money, their BP will arise, and they will later die.
If it's possible to have an insurance, go for an insurance that will be able to cover up for your bills when it comes to medical issues.
Nigerian mentality in going for medical checkup is very poor. Some will tell you that, I'm not sick, why should I go to the hospital for checkup? But it is very, very important. Cost of medical checkup in Nigeria is very high. But sometimes in government hospitals, but even when you go to government hospitals, you even be stressed up, the queue and all that. So you still have to go back to private hospitals. But at the same time, no matter how expensive it might be, our health is very, very important.
Still ahead, Mozambique detects first case of polio in 30 years. Details when we return.
Life can be fun and rewarding, but it also comes with some risk. As in business, you win some, you lose some. And that's why you need to be wise in the choices you make. It's like placing a bet. Again, you need to be wise. Wise in choosing an innovative platform with the highest market options and highest odds ever. That's why Winners Golden Bet, the leader in online, in-shop, virtual, and live sports betting, gives you enhanced platforms that offer you the best chances of winning. For betting on live soccer matches, live dog races, and virtual games. Winners Golden Bet is your best bet. Instant payment of winnings guaranteed. Play online or in any of our numerous shops nearest to you.
Hey guys, be wise. Play on Winners Golden Bet.
Winners Golden Bet, the wise choice.
And now news from other parts of Africa. Health authorities in Mozambique have declared a polio outbreak in the country. The declaration today follows the confirmation of a child in the country's northeastern province who got paralyzed by the disease, according to the World Health Organization, WHO. The case in Mozambique is the second imported case of polio in southern Africa this year, following a case discovered in Malawi in mid-February. Sequencing indicates that the case in Mozambique is linked to a strain of polio spreading in Pakistan in 2019, similar to the case reported in Malawi earlier this year.
Mozambique declared a polio outbreak on Wednesday after detecting its first case of the virus in nearly 3 decades, the World Health Organization has said. That marks the second imported case of wild polio virus in southern Africa this year, following an outbreak in Malawi in February. Polio invades the nervous system and can cause irreversible paralysis within hours. There is no cure for polio, but infection can be prevented through vaccination. The WHO said the latest case was found in a child living in the northeastern Tete region who began experiencing the onset of paralysis towards the end of March. Dr. Matshidiso Moeti, the WHO's regional director for Africa, said in a statement that the detection of another case of wild polio virus in Africa is greatly concerning. She added that it shows how dangerous this virus is and how quickly it can spread. In recent decades, there's been a dramatic reduction in cases worldwide due to intense national and regional immunization campaigns. To halt the spread of the virus, the WHO is supporting vaccination campaigns targeting millions of children in southern Africa. The continent was declared free of indigenous wild polio in 2020 after all wild forms of the virus were eliminated. Genomic sequencing suggests the newly confirmed case is linked to a strain that began circulating in Pakistan in 2019 and is similar to the case in Malawi.
And COVID-19 vaccines are finally pouring into African countries, but vaccination rates are down partly due to hesitancy. In Gambia, Health Ministry worker Joseph describes the frustrating work of convincing people to get the shot.
Workers from Gambia's Health Ministry are out trying to convince people to get vaccinated against COVID-19. It's hard going. In Gambia, uptake is low, a problem reflected across the continent even as vaccine doses are finally rushing in. On this day, in the middle of a week-long vaccination outreach campaign, the health team, led by Joseph Mendy, only got 10 takers. He says he'd been expecting 300.
You have to convince them that the vaccine is safe, it's good, it's beneficial before they take it.
Only 17% of Africa's 1.3 billion people are fully vaccinated against COVID-19. That's in part because richer nations hoarded supply last year. Now doses are arriving, but vaccination rates are falling. The number of inoculations down 35% in March, according to WHO data. Evan O'Connell is a spokesman for the Vaccine Alliance, Gavi.
It's really not now getting doses into countries, but getting doses into arms. That's the challenge now. We have the supply.
Part of the problem is hesitancy and misinformation. This is a continent where big pharmaceutical companies have in the past run dubious clinical trials, resulting in deaths. Mendy's next stop was a university where he says students have been receiving information about the vaccine. But he still encountered refusal after refusal.
I'm good. Okay.
Some ignored him, others said they were afraid of needles.
Very afraid of injection.
After 5 hours, he decided to change location.
So you see, it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating. This is a situation we find ourselves in. So.
The coronavirus did not rip through African countries with the same devastating effect as in other regions. Youthful populations and low testing rates may have camouflaged its spread and blunted fears, leaving vaccination sites empty and millions of unused vials piling up. The poor coverage looks set to widen a gulf between Africa and affluent countries, where vaccination rates have soared above 70%. That also worries health experts, who say large unvaccinated populations increase the risk of new variants emerging. To boost uptake, countries are focusing on mobile vaccination campaigns, sending teams into communities to educate and offer doses on site. But such outreach is too expensive for many African nations, and health officials and workers say donor funding has been slow to arrive.
And today, the verdict in the trial of Dakar Mayor Barthelemy Diaz was postponed. He had hoped to learn his fate, but the third criminal court sets its ruling date on September 21. Diaz has been tried on appeal for his alleged link to a 2011 shooting which took place in the city hall of Mermoz Sakakur, where he was mayor. The armed clash resulted in the death of Senegalese wrestler Ndiaga Diouf. And a member of the Congolese parliament has been sentenced in absentia to 30 years with hard labor and a heavy fine, the High Court of Justice said today. The deputy Ghislain Galisbali was found guilty of the acts attributed to him, including the offense of forgery and use of forgery and swindling for wages. It's time for news outside Africa. A 21-year-old Russian soldier has pleaded guilty to killing an unarmed civilian in the first war crimes trial in Ukraine since the war started. Vadim Shishmarin admitted shooting a 62-year-old man a few days after the invasion began. He faces life in jail. The prisoner was brought into the tiny Kyiv courtroom in handcuffs, flanked by heavily armed guards. He looked nervous and kept his head bowed. And just a couple of meters from him, the widow of the man killed was sitting. The Kremlin said earlier it was not informed about the case. Russia's foreign ministry said today that it was closing the Moscow bureau of Canada's CBC and withdrawing visas and accreditation from the public broadcaster's journalists after Ottawa banned Russian state TV station Russia Today. And CBC's Moscow bureau did not immediately respond to a request for comment. And Zakharova said Ottawa had chosen what she casts as a Russophobic path, including censorship of the media. And the U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken met with Pakistani Foreign Minister Bilawal Bhutto Zardari today at the United Nations, and this is as the United States kicks off its presidency of the Security Council with a series of meetings addressing global food security. It is the first meeting between Blinken and Bhutto Zardari, who was named foreign minister by the new Western-friendly Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif, who came to power in April after his predecessor was ousted in a no-confidence vote.
So we're coming together, and I'm grateful for Pakistan's participation and engagement on this, to look at concrete steps we can take to address the food and security issues, to help people in need around the world. But beyond that, this is an important opportunity for us to talk about the many issues where we're working together. We want to focus on the work we're doing to strengthen our economic and commercial ties between the United States and Pakistan. Of course, focus on regional security. And Pakistan is now in the chairmanship of the G77, and the United States is looking forward to strengthening our own relations and dialogue and communication with the G77. I look very much forward to speaking to the Foreign Minister about that.
Global food security. We are aware that recent geopolitical events have indeed aggravated the situation, and countries like Pakistan have already been facing challenges in food security, water security, energy security, because of a whole host of issues ranging from climate change to issues in our neighborhood. So this particular initiative is most welcome.
And British Prime Minister Boris Johnson said today that he must take a sensible approach by considering the impact on jobs and investments. And this was when asked if he supported introducing a windfall tax on energy companies. The government was not in principle in favor of higher taxation, Johnson told Parliament. He accused the Labour opposition of having a lust for raising taxes on business.
What we want to do is take a sensible approach governed by the impact on investment and jobs, Mr. Speaker. And that is the test of a strong economy. And it's by having a strong economy that we'll be able to look after people as we have done during COVID and as we will do in the aftershocks of COVID. And I'm proud to say, Mr. Speaker, that this week it was revealed that unemployment has come down to the lowest level since 1974. When I was 10 years old, Mr. Speaker. I don't know how old he was, but I was 10 years old.
He just doesn't get it, does he? He doesn't actually understand what working families are going through in this country, struggling about how they're going to pay their bills. And whilst he dithers, British households are slapped with an extra £53 million on their energy bills every single day. Meanwhile, every single day, North Sea oil and gas giants rake in £32 million in unexpected profits.
For weeks, the Prime Minister has been briefing that it's the Treasury who are to blame for blocking financial support for struggling families. Well, Prime Minister, it's time to stop sniping from the sidelines. If this Chancellor won't deliver an emergency budget, it's time for the Prime Minister to sack the Treasury, to sack the Chancellor, and to put somebody else in office that will act.
Up next, Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission says there is no hike in electricity tariffs. And that's in business news after this short break.
And in business news, the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, says it's dissatisfied with the operation of the barge operators operating on the nation's inland waterways. In an interactive session with journalists, the authority's managing director, Mohammed Bello Koko, said NPA will be introducing new requirements for shipping service providers, saying that those who fail to meet the new requirement may have their license revoked. Bello Koko said the authority had noticed some of the barge-sinking containers falling off at berth and some bruising vessels discharging at berth, a development he said was not acceptable. The Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission has clarified that reviews do not automatically translate into an increase in electricity tariffs. The Electricity Market Regulator made this known in a statement titled Notice of Compliance in Respect of the Biannual Review of the Revenue Requirements of License published. According to the NERC, where the impact of improved efficiency is operating parameters for individual licenses exceeded the impact of changes in the macroeconomic parameters, end users might reduce as exhibited in some tariff classes under multi-year tariff order, the MYTO 2022. The clarification came following backlash that greeted recent reports of an increase in tariff by electricity distribution companies, DISCOs. Oil prices rose on Wednesday on expectation that easing COVID-19 restrictions in China will boost demand and supply concerns grew. Brent crude was up 1.24 cents dollars or 1.1% at $113.17, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate WTI crude climbed 1.69 cents dollars or 1.5% to $114.09 a barrel, reversing some of the previous session's losses. Hopes of further lockdown ease in China boosted expectation for demand recovery. The country's authority allowed 864 of Shanghai's financial institutions to resume work, sources said on Wednesday, a day after Chinese city achieved a milestone of 3 consecutive days with no new COVID-19 cases outside quarantine zones. The price rise is being capped by reports that the U.S. is planning to relax sanctions against Venezuela and allow Chevron Corp to negotiate oil licenses with Venezuela's national producer. A rebound in stock ran out of steam on Wednesday as concerns about the economic growth outlook and rising inflation knocked sentiment, while a United Kingdom inflation reading of 9% underlined just now much higher interest rate might be headed. Asian stock managed to eke out their 4th straight session of gains, but in Europe shares were mixed and futures on Wall Street pointed to weaker open. Many analysts have characterized this week's sharp rally as a short-term bounce off the sought common during a lengthier downward trend for equities. Few are willing to predict the end to selling after a bruising 5 months of the year for risky assets given so much macroeconomic uncertainties. The MSCI's broadest index of Asia's Pacific share outside Japan rose 0.6% and it's on its longest winning streak since February. Japan's Nikkei rose 0.94% and miners lead Australia's share about 1% higher. The MSCI World Equity Index inched up 0.1% and is nearly 2% higher so far this week, but remains down 16% from its peak in January. And that's it on Business News. Many thanks for watching. I am Messi Boko. The news continues.
Entertainment news is up next.
Travis Scott has awarded $1 million in scholarship for students at historical black colleges and universities. The Cactus Jack Foundation has awarded the money to 100 members of the graduating class of 2022, with $10,000 scholarships being given to seniors who have reached academic excellence while facing financial adversity. The Cactus Jack Foundation was founded to enrich the lives of young people by providing access to education and creative resources. Bob Mackie has an issue with Kim Kardashian wearing Marilyn Monroe's classic dress after Kardashian graced the Met Gala red carpet wearing Monroe's gown earlier this month. The internet had mixed reactions. Mackie, the costume designer who sketched Monroe's iconic dress just months before she died, knocked the reality TV star by re-wearing the dazzling dress to the event, stating it was a big mistake. In Mackie's opinion, no one should have ever worn the dress except the goddess herself. Months after cinematographer Alina Hutchins was fatally shot on the set of the film Rust, the co-producer of the project says he is confident the movie will resume filming and be completed. In an interview, Andrew Nagum, co-producer of Rust with actor Alec Baldwin, said he believes they will be able to finish Rust once the investigation into the shooting incident is complete. Nagum also announced plans for a new film with Baldwin called False Awakenings, in which Baldwin will star. They plan to begin production this summer. SARS and Lil J's Mona Lisa remix is set to drop this week. Months after dominating the Nigerian music scene, Lil J took to Instagram a few weeks ago to reveal that a remix for Mona Lisa is on the way, confirming Chris Brown as the artist of the remix.
The very best in sports is coming next.
Hello and welcome to Sports News on Plus TV Africa. U.S. men's and women's national team players will receive equal pay and prize money, including at World Cups, after they came together to agree on landmark collective bargaining agreements, CBAS, with the U.S. Soccer Federation on Wednesday. The CBAS, the first of their kind, will run through 2028, covering the next 2 World Cups and Olympic cycles. They will also keep the players among the highest paid national team players in the world, U.S. Soccer said. In another first for U.S. Soccer and the players' unions, U.S. Soccer will share a portion of its broadcast partner and sponsorship revenue, with a 50-50 split of that share divided equally between USWNT and USMNT. It ends a dispute dating back to 2016 when some players filed a federal wage discrimination complaint claiming they were paid less than male players, even though they generate more income for the United States Soccer Federation.
I really wanted to lead on this, and U.S. Soccer really wanted to lead on this, to bring both players' associations together with U.S. Soccer to try to solve this complex problem of equalizing World Cup prize money between the Men's World Cup and the Women's World Cup. And so being able to bring them together and sit down and talk and hammer out what was important to all 3 parties and to come to an agreement, I think really is a game changer for international sport. A ton of credit. You know, I said months before we actually got them in the room together that this deal would not get done without the men's players and the Men's Players Association coming together and working with the women's PA, the women's players, and U.S. Soccer. And they have absolutely done that. And I think this deal just shows what we can really achieve if we all work together.
Manchester City midfielder Jill Scott bids farewell to her footballing days at the Sky Blues. She reflects on her days at Manchester City and the silverware she won at the club. The Sunderland-born footballer declares that she is working on her fitness in hopes of being selected for the 2022 Euros this summer. The 32-year-old's next destination remains unknown.
The trophies that we've won have been fantastic, and I'm forever grateful that I was surrounded by such good, talented players that enabled me to probably play in a certain way. I think when Nick first came in, he showed us a way of playing football that we all really believed in, and I was learning things at 26, 27, 28. Obviously, I've been in the game a long time, but that I never knew about football before. So, yeah, you can't believe it. Like, I went to Wembley the other day. I was there as a fan, obviously supporting the girls, and just seeing 50,000 people there with the names on the backs of the shirt, and even just walking to get the tube and listening to the girls talking about certain players. Although we didn't get the win, it was a very proud moment. Yeah, when you talk about FA Cups, Conti Cups, winning the league had to be the biggest one. But I think in terms of my favourite, it's not a moment, but favourite thing is seeing the likes of Kira Walsh, Ellie Warbuck, Georgia Stanway. Like, I remember them coming in and they were just training, they were just kids, 17, 18, and now they're the biggest names in women's football. And that for me will always be one of the most pleasing things about this team, about the growth of the younger players and how they handle themselves now in the biggest games. So, yeah, special moments, but then also special journeys for special players.
International Olympic Committee IOC President Thomas Bach welcomed members to the latest executive board meeting in Lausanne on Wednesday, May 18th. The two-day meeting will provide updates on the activities of the Olympic movement, the IOC commissions and the IOC administration, as well as reports from the organizing committees for the Olympic Games. Some members are attending in person in Lausanne, while others are joining online.
Welcome, and let's start right away, that we are getting ready before the session starts. We could already approve the minutes of our last board meeting on 1st of April.
And that's all the sports news we have for you for now. Join us next time. My name is Mikhail Tinubu. Have a good night.
And the main news again. President Buhari to determine fate of ministers who returned to office after political adventure. Again, court declined bail to Nnamdi Kanu. Federal government withdraws newly amended charges against IPOB leader. And Russian soldier plead guilty to killing an unarmed civilian in the first war crimes trial. And that's the news now. For more stories, please follow us on our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Visit our website at www.plustvafrica.com and do subscribe to our YouTube channel at Plus TV Africa and Plus TV Africa Lifestyle. I am Destiny Momo. Many thanks for watching.
Nigeria's Niger Delta region, from where the black gold fuels Africa's largest economy, where the lines between wealth and poverty has never been thinner. Conflicts, poverty, insecurity, and environmental challenges daily confront the region. How can the Niger Delta story be changed for the better?
Join Mamude Akuga at 9 p.m. every Friday evening on Plus TV Africa as he probes deep in search of solutions.
Inside the Niger Delta with Mamude Akuga, the authentic voice of Nigeria's oil-rich region.
What we do not understand, we will stigmatize.
What you can see is the remaining of the tanker that exploded.
The suspect equally confessed.
A 500 naira they collect am. If you no talk, dem go beat you. Na 2,500 they pay.
In raising our kids, parents should stop playing God.
The internet is actually using the people.
But when you are looking for money to help other people, then it becomes easy.
Don't rush into marriage. I always say this. You rush in, you rush out.